What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Live from the 8th mile. Boy, I can't tell you, I can't say enough about this race that I'm watching here. Let me turn on my noise canceller. I forgot about that. But I can't say enough about what I'm watching right now. This is absolutely one of the best OGs that I've seen. And if you can't tell, it's starting to pick up, huh, Casey?
Yeah, man. Well, it's officially the biggest OG of all time. Just like I was saying on the stream last Tuesday, if y'all don't visit us on Tuesdays, you definitely need to. We always talk about everything there is in the bracket racing world, what's happening. And the main topic, of course, this week was the fact that it was OG Million Week. And I called that it was going to be 400 cars. I think I'm the only person. Everybody told me I was crazy. And I had a lot of reasons for thinking that. And I was wrong. And I was wrong to the tune of 96 more entries than what I actually said. So there are people crazier than I was, I guess.
Right. You know we can't do this anyway, guys, without Syntex Printing out there at Temple, Texas, and BRG Motorsports, 3D printed parts, and Driven Racing Oils, Champs Performance, Team 14 Motorsports, if I didn't say it, Ken Jones Performance, TSR Transmissions. Anything you need for that transmission, TSR can take care of you, man. But yeah, there's some racing going on. I just wanted to get us in the stream, get us in here live. I know Casey's documenting who's all left. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you over there, Dylan Champion. Poor old Brandon couldn't pull it out there, but pretty good showing for him too, and a lot of big numbers starting to pop up. So let's get back at the racing, guys. We'll see you in a minute.
Double 08 to a 14. Cisco with 6 now in his pocket. Smoke him if you got him. No. Win goes right side to Castaneda. What a drag race. 14 dead, 1 for Tommy. Gets it done. Cisco was 008. 1 above, 3 no good. Castaneda. Moving on. Billy Fuller, 551 left side. Scott Taylor, 504 on the right side.
This old Scott Taylor's been pretty tough. I know you guys can hear me out there too, but this guy's been tough. I think he cracked out Big Jed earlier. That's what put him out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find, I'm trying to write these names down here.
Right side, Scott Taylor.
You can write Scott Taylor's down.
24 goes 1 above 7. Billy Fuller, 24 and 3 above, no good.
All right, I think I'm caught up now here. So far we got 9 people going into the next round. One of them was Triplet. One of them's Carpenter. Carpenter should be coming back around here shortly. He's still doubled, I believe. He might be one of the few that still are doubled at this point in 5th round.
Nice. Hey, what's going on out there, Logan? I don't want to say your your first name. I don't want to mess it up. But thanks for joining us. And feel free to chime in throughout this bad boy. The OG Million has definitely turned out to be everything that we expected. In the round 5, I think we were estimating somewhere around 40-something cars left, Casey.
I believe so. I based it off of that every single person bought back in the million, and I just divided by 2 the whole way down, and I estimated it to be somewhere around 47 should be in this round. If that was true. So it's going to be between 40 and 50 is what I figure.
Right. Getting ready to get into some long cars. You know how I feel about long cars. I know how you feel about long cars. I know how Motor Maniacs feel about long cars. By the way, this couldn't be possible in order for us to cut this race in here. Kind of give a little bit of a commentary, for lack of better terms, in between rounds when they start chopping up money. If they start chopping up money. Now, if somebody doesn't split in this race, hey, man, I don't know what you're smoking on, but you might want to quit if you don't split in this race.
Right. Well, dude, and the fact of the matter is that if people are still in at that point, I guess we might as well just start off with talking about when you have 640 grand up top. And the one thing I will say about the OG Million versus a lot of other races is that they have 50 grand right there for the runner up. They're already getting 50.
Right.
So I mean, they have at least the runner up money is something that's of value. Now, whenever obviously 50 grand is a lot of money anyway. But whenever you're looking at 640 and you're looking at 50, that's a big change right there. But I guess the question I want to ask is, surely the split happens next round, right? Like surely somebody will talk about it at least or bring it up if there's, say 20, 25 cars left and you got $640,000 at top. Surely the split talk happens next round, wouldn't you think?
You would think for sure, right? As we get some cars backing up into the beams here, so I'm going to give us a little bit of volume on the track. But here's a good old door car versus dragster matchup. I know you can see it coming. So this is TB Promotions car. Is this Brian? Maybe.
I believe that's Tebow, actually.
Is it Tebow?
I think he's driving the dragster. That is Sean Carpenter in his second entry, coming back around right now. So Sean Carpenter is officially going to be still doubled in a door car in 6th round of the OG Million.
Right. So that's pretty cool. Ouch. That's tough to do. Coming on that hard. We talk about that all the time. We've heard Scotty Richardson begin to mention that in his class. By the way, guys, if you're not following that Scotty Richardson, I can't call quite the name of that group, but he's dropping some serious knowledge inside of that group. And if you're not following it, I really don't know what you're thinking or what your thought process is behind not following one of the best to ever do it in Casey's and mine opinion when it comes to bracket racing. He's dropping some really good knowledge. Anyway, he says it's almost impossible for anybody to see coming that hard and thinking that they dropped you at the finish line that much faster than you. Well, you got a little taste of that. Having to take 9, that's going to be pretty hard to do coming on that hard. So
that's right, man. I want to say that's called. I want to say it's called the Winning Edge or something like that, but it's free. He got it all sponsored, and he has all of his talks are 100% free. You just log in. He'll be Facebook Live, and if you can't make it live, then
rewatch it.
I watch it the next day all the time.
Hey, so be it, right? And he'll tell you himself, you might have to watch me a couple of times in order to grab a little bit of information from me. But who's going to stop you from hitting the rewind button if you didn't hear something right? Right? That's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of Facebook and all these other apps that we have in order to go back and watch things. So Troy Abercrombie, what we're talking about is Scotty Richardson's courses. They're free. The Winning Edge is, I believe, what it's called, and we can try to get you invited in there. But he's dropping some pretty serious drag racing, should I say, bracket racing knowledge. Let's get a little volume here. Got some racing going on. I'll get you a big screen right now too, guys.
Now, isn't the purple dragster that just went down the track? Is that not the dragster that Tebow won the guaranteed GABR guaranteed million with? I feel like it is.
I just watched it, and I don't know. AJ Ash is driving it though, so let's not get it twisted. Write that name down, Casey. AJ Ash. Everybody knows he's got that door car, and he's a force to be messed with in that door car. But seemingly showing that he can do it in the long cars too, because he's been on a roll all day, moving into the 6th round right here. So hats off to AJ Ash, somebody I'll be watching. I'm gonna turn this up. Little problems. Let's see what's going on.
Harvey is out of the vehicle. We will get his hot rod pushed backwards, and it does look like Jesse Bobo will get a competition single.
Single into the next round. Hey, you count your lucky stars. You must have ate your lucky charms this morning, Mr. Bobo.
Yeah, that's right, man. He's a good racer, though.
He's tough.
He's been tough to handle anyway.
That's true. Well, he's got a free crack at it. What are you thinking in this situation, Casey? With a free crack at the track, going into the 6th round of the 27th annual Million, paying out $640,000. What are you thinking in this round, in this buy run?
I'm thinking that I know Bobo isn't going to do this, but I would be thinking personally that I'm going to make a time shot here. I guarantee he lets off at half track.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking the same.
No?
Hey, don't forget, you might be ahead of us a little bit. Hold on. He took. Oh shoot! yeah, non-total. Okay, don't feel so bad. Whoever just got backed out for the broke car, non-total was gonna be. You was going on the trailer anyway. Is basically what I'm saying. I don't see you getting under non-total.
Like I said, Jesse Bobo is a good racer. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
This Donnie Burleson. This is Burleson. That's one sick car.
I would not be surprised to see Jesse Bobo down in the last 4 cars. I wouldn't be surprised if he won the whole thing, to be quite honest with you.
And I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. Let's see here. This is going to be a pretty good dogfight. Don't tell me who wins. I know you've seen it, but this old little kid, Braden Taylor, he didn't get it done, but he's tough. Ouch. Ouch. Should have stayed in it. Ouch. Should have stayed in it. That day. I'm tell you what. Now he's got a real good guy teaching him in Brandon Taylor. That kid, you watch out for Braden Taylor these next couple of years, especially right now. We're watching him run on the big stage. This is crazy for a youngster to get it done like this. I think he just turned 18 or 17 or something like that.
I'd say that Braden Taylor is going to be similar to what Donovan Williams is, in my opinion. He had like you said, he had a really good teacher. He also has ran around with that group, and he's already proven himself, man. I think he win $60,000 the other day or something like that because they combined those 2 races.
I think you're right about that, and I also think he done pretty well in his local points event if he didn't win track champion already. So, definitely one to watch out for, Braden Taylor.
Take 3 to be 1 above 4. Keith Thomas, 0-29, 1 above 2, no good. Christopher Dodd advances to round 6.
Been hearing that name quite a bit too, Dodd. This guy's been running pretty good here lately.
Kevin Brandon left side.
Is he not
the rabbit? You know he's always going to be in the mix.
Oh yeah. Is Christopher Dodd the super comp guy?
I think so. I
feel like he's a super comp guy.
And this is Whitfield, right? This is the old boy out of Colorado?
That's his car.
Oh, snap. This is going to be a dogfight.
I don't know if Chris is driving that car because I know he's got his black car there too.
I think that's Chris Whitfield right there driving. Dodd is the 2021 world champ in Super Comp.
I thought he sounded like a familiar name.
Ouch. Ouch.
And 39 foul under.
Yeah, Whitfield dodged the bullet there. Write him down. Brandon. Double O red to go dead one. Yeah, well. Long ride home.
I am going to go radio silent here for a second, and I'm going to go back through here and write down who wins this round so we know who's going to round 6.
You're okay. Once we get in here, I'll park into a commercial real quick and let everybody get a load of our wonderful sponsors, and and that way you can get situated there too.
Cool.
Live from the 8th mile behind the scenes. Normally Brad Gephardt would be here. I think he's out there slot car racing somewhere, and he might poke his head in here, maybe or may not. So let's keep watching some racing here. Big shout out to all the sponsors that make Motor Mania happen for us. Larice, Mickey Thompson, Vintage Trailers, Lucas Oil. You guys are awesome for giving us something to watch, keeping it free to the viewer. That's pretty awesome.
Galletti down 446 in the right side. McDaniel, 8 dead, 8, 16 total, gets there 12 foul. Galletti,
McDaniel.
16, one above, no good. Cody McDaniel will advance.
I don't know if he's raced yet either, but I want to call this out. I want to say he had 2 going into this round. I hope he still does. But old David Bird Jones is driving the wheels off of that car that Kendall wrecked that is put back together. How about that?
Right side out in 443. And one above, Tom Staba moves on.
A few more dragsters coming up here, man.
Tucker Cancelard out 456. Take on Scott Carr. Scott out 444.
All right, I think I'm caught up. I believe this this dragster that we're looking at right now on the near side to us, I think that might be Whitfield's old car, actually.
That makes sense. That does look pretty.
I feel like it is for
kind
some
of looks.
reason.
It at least looks like it. You're right about that.
But all dragsters look the same, so you never know.
You know, Cody, I think I feel the same way, man. I feel like there are more. As Cancelar gets a win there, Casey. But I feel like there are more dragsters than door cars at just about every race. So I think that's going to be common just about everywhere we race.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's another name that's been on one. You know, Jason Lynch. He can drive anything, but
Yep.
he's been driving the heck out of this old dragster here.
But you're right, though. Lynch is one of those people. The reason I think that Scotty Richardson is such a great driver has absolutely nothing to do what he's done for his record, which is great by itself. But it's the exact same reason why I think Jason Lynch is a great driver. And it's the fact that if I called Jason Lynch and said, hey, I'll enter you in this big race and you're driving my car, Jason Lynch is going to be competitive in that car, never having sat in it. And there aren't many people that can do that. So is Scotty Richardson.
That's a fact.
There's a lot of people that are great racers, but you'll notice they only do it in their personal car or that same car all the time.
Yep, I agree with that 100%.
So Lynch made it.
Winlight will go to Lynch. 26, one above, gets the win. Kerner, 33, take 18. To be 13
Pretty
foul under,
neat.
take 15 or less. Jason Lynch. Moving on.
I see Will Holloman back there in the old S-Dime. Still got a S-Dime hanging tough in there, of course.
I'd say that in the last couple weeks, at least what he did at Virginia, I mean, Chris Bear made a great call having Will drive that truck this year, because I guarantee you, I mean, Will won last week, realistically, what that truck's probably worth. Just
no
last week,
question.
as far as the big check goes, you know, or whatever, maybe the week before last week, whenever Triple Threat was.
No question. No question about it.
He does not. Butler 002, take 002.
Jeez.
Be 26 thou above Crawford, let go 34. And put it 4 thou under, had no chance. Butler. 2, take 2 will advance him to round 6.
You ought to win a lot of races if you're 2, take 2. That's just all I got to say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if Holloman's going to have a bye or something because he's back there, looks like, by himself.
Wasn't he trip zip last hit?
Yeah, actually, he might have been one total or something.
Something ignorant. That's all I know. I think he was trip zip on one of those entries. So
Speaking of, did you catch it earlier this morning? It might have been first or second round, but Troy Williams in that truck was perfect package.
I did not. I missed it. Gee
whiz. That's 4 perfect runs between him and Gary this year, at least that I know of.
So I ain't shocked. I will say that. Let you get these 2 pair in, and we'll switch it.
So was that Ferraro?
That was Bailey Ferraro.
And then Holloman gets the bye.
Holloman's got the bye.
So that means if all my stuff is right and I didn't miss anybody, there should be 23 cars coming back around.
That's yeah. I think you're right. I'm pretty sure we didn't miss anything there.
So as far as I can tell, Sean Carpenter is still doubled. No, so there's 24 because Sean's doubled. So
there's a bye right. There's a bye right here. Shouldn't there be a bye next round?
Well, maybe I missed somebody.
5 total. Holloman's going to be a problem. That's all I got to say.
He was one of my picks, George.
Willie Wood's going to be a problem. He was only your pick because I didn't get to pick him first.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you can have that. As I turn to mute, I'm going to mute this real quick. Guys, we got the whole list down. We do believe that we're sitting somewhere around 23 or 24 cars. And we'll have more information here in a little bit. But what a day this is turning out to be. I'm real honest with you here. I'm very, very excited to see the next couple of rounds, Casey, with a couple of big names still in, but a lot of big names fell off, man. A lot of big names fell off. Glad to see AJ Ash in there in a dragster. Catfish is going to be in trouble the rest of the way. You guys let him get a head of steam under him. I won't be shocked if Catfish holds up the final trophy here. Not at all.
I wouldn't either, man. Honestly, there aren't many people that I would say shouldn't be here. I don't think there's anybody who shouldn't be here, man. We have two people are still in that are previous winners of the million, and they're multi-time winners, who are Dave Triplett and Kenny Underwood.
Right.
So now I don't know if I'm fairly, didn't Dave Triplett, he won it in his dragster and then he won it in his Vega, right? And then he actually was in the final. He's got the most million finals, I think.
Yep.
But so 2 previous winners are still in, and we still got my buddy Sean Carpenter in, still doubled, had a great year this year so far, won pretty much every big money race that there was at Darlington. All he's going to do is keep stacking that cash, man, because I don't know how many runs hopefully I'll get to talk to him next week for Galat's Halloween Havoc. I'm sure he'll be there unless he wins this race, in case he might go on vacation.
Right. Right. So Lancecraft, man, it would be great for us to get a GBR car out there. Either myself, Casey. I know we have several logo GBR cars out there right now. Brad Gebhardt's got one. My uncle's got one. My dad's got 2. My cousin's got one. We have quite a few GBR logoed cars out there, but nobody went down to the OG Million. And we could talk about this while they're doing a little bit of cleanup on the track here, and I'll pull that screen back up so you can see it. But what a turnout! And Casey, we alluded to this a little bit ahead of time, not to the tune of 496 entries, but that it would be a very, very a well-attended event, especially when we looked at how Montgomery looked last week for those 20s. Is there something to say about hosting a race ahead of a big race like the OG Million or the half a million or the guaranteed million if that ever comes back? Is there something to say about holding a race the week before?
I think so. I mean, clearly, it helped this race, in my opinion. I mean, I heard that basically everybody who is at the OG Million was at the 20 granders. In fact, your winner of the first 50K race, the no split 50K final, Nick Folk, won one of those $20,000 races. So,
Right.
I mean, when you're coming to a race that's as big of a deal as the OG Million, I think that if there's a race before it, I think people take all 2 weeks off and they just race for 2 weeks. And secondarily, I wanted to tell you, I just literally got on Facebook, and our buddy TJ Pruitt, a drag coverage, is going to go live during the split conversation on Facebook.
Okay.
So if we can try to potentially
I'll
cut
pull him
that
in.
in here too.
I'll try to cut him in here and get him. Just tell me when you see him, and I'll try to be watching as well. You know how that goes. I'll grab it and we'll have a stream of that as well. But no, man, I really do, and I'm even gonna go back to I believe it was the Super Bowl of bracket racing, which turned out to be a really good event over in Darlington. And the next thing you know, there's the Fall Fling over in Bristol. Well, what happened? It was seemingly a spillover because that's not very far apart when you look at the distance between Darlington and Bristol. So, a lot to say about people hosting races, or should I say, racetracks hosting races close to the bigger events for the year. Hopefully, they begin to come out. Maybe Michael Beard's going to get some of those little racers on the master schedule, and that way people can kind of do the same thing, as we are forecasting a pretty interesting year next year, which we'll get more into as the Winter Series gets underway and get the feel of either track owners or big money bracket racers, things of that nature. How do they feel going into the next year? So ought to get pretty interesting around here pretty quickly.
I would think so. And we got a question over here in the chat, which is why do you guys think there are so many entries this year versus last year? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's part of what we'll get into in the Winter Series too. I'll preface it. I know you and I, Casey, we've spoke about this. The economy's not looking that good right now. Let's be honest, okay? And I know we've had Brett Kepner on here, and I really feel like he's going to be a good person to look to in times like this, just based on how many times he's likely been through quote unquote recession scare. But in my opinion, there's a lot of people thinking it's going to be a pretty interesting year next year. We had better attend one of these bigger races before they don't exist anymore. And then on top of that, this is the granddaddy of them all. Brilliantly named by Motormania TV, by the way, as I read through their comments. By the way, if you hadn't hit that like button on Motormania TV, get after it. I don't know what you guys are waiting on. 2.5, 3,000 people in there with only, I didn't look at how many likes there were, but there ought to be 2.5K likes. So hit that button. You can do it from your TV as well. So no excuses. But that's my answer to that question, man.
I would agree. I think that, again, like, to steal one of the words out of your playbook there, the writing's on the wall. I mean, things are going downhill. I think a lot of people are like, well, I still got money right now. At least I can get some racing in. I think this might be the last opportunity I have to run for this kind of money. Because, it's like we were talking on the phone yesterday because we were preparing for live from the 8th mile, but there's so many entries that we didn't get past second round last night,
That's right.
So, but what we were talking about was, at the end of the day, yes, there are big races already scheduled for next year, but we're not at next year yet, man. Those things can be just as easily canceled as they are scheduled. That's why it says tentative,
Sure.
So at the end of the day, if the economy just falls over backwards, then it is what it is, So, but the OG Million is in fact happening this year right now, and I think that's why so many people went down there.
Yep, I think on the top of that, bracket racer 9622, as we were mentioning just moments before that question, there was a lot of spillover from that Montgomery race. That people were already on the road, already there, probably camped out, probably had a really good time while there's really nobody there or nothing to do, and stuck around, So I gotta say this too while I'm sitting here thinking about it as I watch a tractor go down the track. Shouts out to the staff for putting in all you can with this track. I know I've seen and heard quite a few moans and groans about how the track has connected, but it's seemingly looking like they have a great racing surface at this million right now, and that's hard work. I know they stopped right in the beginning of round one and scraped up the track. I could see cars drifting a little bit towards the left there. Right lane was going towards the center, left lane was going towards the wall, and next thing you know, they shut it down and scraped that bad boy up. So shouts out to the track for everybody putting up a good racing surface. Casey, I'm going to read Troy's post here, and maybe you can pull off from this, but Troy Abercrombie is saying gas and interest rates are up, but business is still booming for everybody that I know. That's a good comment. What do you think about that?
Well, that was kind of the route I was getting ready to go and the route I was thinking. So I'm glad Troy said that, because I had forgot what I was going to say, which happens to me all the time. But, that is true. And I want to just go off the part where he says gas is up. Well, the fact of the matter is that, is there something to be said for going into, say, 2023 and going off of the fact that there was a big race in Montgomery and then there's another big race and stuff like that? Is there something to be said for towing once, racing a whole bunch of times all at once, and then not racing the rest of the month in 2023? Because diesel fuel, I thought about this in my own life this year, just because diesel is essentially what it is right now. It's been like that all summer, but whenever it got up around $6, I was like, man, when you're talking about going 100 miles one way to go racing, that starts adding up as far as, your tow bill ends up being just as expensive as you're racing when you're local racing. And I was like, man, maybe that's the way that people do it in 2023. Maybe they don't go racing every single weekend. Maybe you go racing instead of going 4 times, trying to go 4 times every weekend. Maybe you only go 2 times and you race 2-day races or something. Maybe tracks start doing 2-day programs.
It's quite possible. I know we've mentioned that and kind of peeled the Band-Aid off on that subject a few times. If you haven't watched it, it's in our archives at the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel, or even here on the Facebook channel, whichever one you prefer, whichever one you like frequenting at. But I do see that as a quote unquote on the to-do list for moving into 2023, and that's why I hope, Michael Beard, you're the man when it comes to the master schedule. If that master schedule can house some of the smaller races around it, I feel like it's going to be quite useful to everyone as they plan their 2023. And that way we can maximize our gas.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but it looks like TJ just went live on the Drag Coverage Facebook page as far as the split. It doesn't look like they're all talking yet, but they're all getting up in the lanes, getting ready to split, and he's live.
Hang on, guys. I'm going to get us in there.
It says in his post on the Drag Coverage Facebook page, it says 24 cars left, so I was right on my count. Yep. He says the big split has been proposed at the $1 Million Drag Race, $775,000 in the pot right now.
Holy moly. And what page did you say they're on?
Drag Coverage.
All right. Hey, read a couple of posts I'm going to read this out of Facebook, and at least one of them. Jock Nicholson. The economy for self-employed service people and self-employed, I feel, as a 71-year-old self-employed racer, the racing will continue. Local races may not make it weekly. I am going to local and regional 5Ks and bigger races where I can double and race a couple of days. Take off with that, Casey, while I get us into drag coverage.
I agree with that 100%. And I actually wasn't... I never really thought about it that way. I always thought about it as an easy way to double what you're spending, And then I started thinking about it, and I went to Kinston, which is a local track out here by me, and they have a deal where it's $3,000 to win their local program. It's $70 entry fee single, and it's $125 double. And I was like, well, I'll just double enter it then. You know what I mean? Because I was there, my dad was in town. And I was like, well, if we're going racing, then we're really going racing, because I got my Nova done. I got 2 brand new batteries in it, and it's got an alternator. So I can hot lap that thing like it's going out of style, Right. And I did that, and I was like, man, realistically, I didn't do any good that day. I want to say In fact, Quez the not a duck ended up taking me out. I don't know if it was third or fourth round, something like that. But yeah, I ended up not doing hardly any good, and I still made like 10 runs, And it's, whenever you think about it, then I didn't go racing the following weekend, so I didn't have to tow somewhere again, but I still raced just as much, even though I didn't do any good. That's just, it's a good way to really kind of have a good time all the time, because you can make a whole lot of runs. And I'm a fan of driving my race car, like I'm not caught up. Like, obviously I want to win and do all that kind of stuff, but I'm like, my self-esteem isn't hinging on winning every single race like it used to be whenever I was a kid, like nowadays it's
hang on,
go ahead.
I've got him coming, but I've got some noise going on too, so they might have missed you a little bit. I'm gonna throw in the drag coverage. If you guys know what drag coverage is, I'm sure you do.
The needle hanging tight.
Get some noise down here a little bit, but this is TJ Pruitt giving us the inside scoop, and I'm gonna throw some hearts and some shares and let them know.
Somebody's proposing 15 right here.
Hopefully everybody can hear. I know we don't get this opportunity to get into this type of a deal very often, but listen in. I'm gonna juice the volume, Casey.
What's up, boss? All on top, My bad.
I'm going to set it now, but if you can leave 500 the final, and then you can do, that would leave us 275 for 10 people. So if you made it 10 to lose here, take 120. If you make it, there'll be 6 losers next round. So if you wanted to make it 15 next round. And I believe, is that Okie Dokie, the guy they call Okie Dokie, owns Overkill Motorsports, doing the numbers?
I'm not 100% sure, but most likely. He's got a lot. I think he had a lot of horses in this race, so it wouldn't shock me.
I would say that he's done this math before, I believe.
I'd bet he has. Get a drag coverage logo up here. What we're catching right now, guys, is the split, and I hope you can hear me. We're catching the split. They are chopping up quite a bit of money right now. I'm gonna mute it a little bit. They're chopping up a little bit of money right now. I think I said a lot of bit the first time. I should have said a lot of bit that time too, but I'm gonna bring us back in some more volume. Keep a listening here, guys.
Negotiating right here. We're going to get back in there. We're going to step back and take a picture right quick. I'll do whatever they want
to. See, I agree with whoever was just talking to TJ, where they said I'll split it however they want to split it whenever there's that much money.
That much money, no question about it. As he paused a little bit, he's still here.
Where's Super Dave? He's in the back. So that would be the math. I'm in. Dave!
All right. Mitch is proposing this. We're going to go.
Yeah, that is Mitchell Cleary, by the way.
Got 24 yeses for this, Mitch says. So let's go here.
Again, big shout out Drag Coverage for what you're doing here. We don't always get to see the inside of a split. One of these days we will.
What's the numbers, Mitch? What's the numbers?
It'd be 300,000 to win. 140. Be 140,000 to the runner-up. 50 at 3 cars. 25,000 if you lose at 6. 15,000 if you lose next round, and 10,000 to lose here.
Got it.
That's what it is.
Can you read that, George? I'll write it down.
I couldn't read it. I could hear it.
How many?
See if I can rewind it in a
you got
minute.
in, Oki?
Just one.
Just got one. All right.
He's got one bullet going.
He's very capable of doing it.
I want to say it's 300.
So you
this
heard
is
it?
what they're proposing. Everybody's got to
I didn't
agree
get all
on
that
it,
down,
obviously.
so
but
hopefully somebody
I
can
want
type
to
it in the
say
chat
that
for
it's
me.
saying 300 to win, 200 to run
Anybody
up.
get that? I think it's 10,000 to lose here and 300 to win and 140 runner up.
I don't know what
40 to runner up.
I wonder what that 300 and 200 was. $10,000 to lose this
if
round
everybody
is what they're
agrees.
proposing.
Everybody's good with 10 here.
I wouldn't be good with 10. I'm okay with 10. Yeah, didn't we talk about that today? Gee, what would $10,000 do to my bank account right now?
Exactly.
Two guys.
So we are at, so it'll be
Gotta vote.
10 to lose this
person says
round
no,
at
the
24
person says no.
cars.
I got you. 300K,
Here, guys.
140K, 50K, 15K, and
24
10K.
racers here.
Right.
Hey, Chris. I'm on the
So
way.
basically, yeah, so at 12 cars, you'd get 15. At 6 cars, you'd be 25. In the semis, then you'd have 50.
Or 24.
140 to runner up, 300 to winner. So no one's having a bad day.
No. No, I'm having a good day for you. So you can't be having a bad day. What do you mean bad day?
That's the thing, man, is that am I the only one that even though I'm not there and even though I don't get any part of this money, like this type of stuff is exciting to me for some reason. Like it's just, especially whenever you're seeing this type of stuff, this doesn't even happen at a professional level. Like this amount of money isn't winnable in a professional category.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
This is after it was split back too.
Right. And
If it was,
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I believe I saw on Drag Illustrated yesterday that they posted something about Montgomery and how many cars was out there, and it was $640,000. And I could only go on there and say, this is how we do it in the bracket racing world. We race for big money, okay?
Right.
Big money.
Yeah, man, it's old racer in here. Mopar man says, as I said, sign me up. And 10K to lose this round, sign me up. Old racer says, I bought my first house for $15,000.
Right.
Looks like Alan Boykin made his way out of the woods. I talked to him last night. He said he was going hunting today, so he must not have got anything because he ain't cutting it up right now.
I wish I was there with you, Alan. I ain't been in a deer blind in too many years, man, so I missed that quite a bit. One of these years. Hey, if you make some hot summer sausages, overnight me a good old chunk of that, and I'll be forever in your debt, sir.
Yep. We got Barn in here, too. Barn must be taking a break from over there. He's taking a break from moderating the
Barn doubling up.
Motor Mania side.
Is he doubling duties?
Double duty.
Double duties. I think I'm going to pull up Big Jed and see what's going on. I'm going to try to keep my ears up. Hey, by the way, and I didn't do this either, but I don't know how many races this guy right here, Dave Conley, has actually thrown, or should I say directed. But he's doing a great job, man. For them to have this many racers and then say if you lost second round you're getting $300 because of how good of an attendance we have here, that's pretty stand up. And I'm gonna coin the phrase from Ryan Gleghorn. At least they didn't throw all the money on top, which there's already quite a bit of money up there in the first place. So shout out OG Million guys. Good job out there.
I agree with that, man, because that was something that I didn't even think about it until they even said it. The fact that Randy decided that, we'll just give it to the losers of this round. There are people already who have lost. Like they don't even know they've lost an hour ago, you know. And then he's like, well, we'll just pay some people this round too, because 99% of events, realistically, other than this event, I've really never heard of anybody doing that. They always want to throw it up top, you know.
Right. Right. Now I'll tell you what, this might be a
Says
good
no
time to
sound.
probe
Is that
him.
true, everybody?
No, we got you. Well, he can't hear me.
Sounds good, Josh.
Yeah. Anyway, this might be a good time to send TJ a good message and say, hey man, join us Tuesday for the next episode of Going Bracket Racing, because he was boots on the ground here. I'd like to get his feel for what he's witnessing right here. And if you guys haven't ever seen TJ Pruitt live on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel, just go ahead and scroll back a few episodes. You'll find him. He's in there. But he was out there I think he was in that Monza, and good looking old car too. I didn't even really, I guess I knew he had it, but I hadn't seen that car in a long time. So.
Yep, I was texting with him a few weeks ago, and he was kind of making fun of himself because he's like, I'm bringing the Monza there. I'm bringing the Monza.
Right.
And I was like, do it. He's like, I'm going to. That car's good, man. I don't think it's anything special either. I think that I want to say that he said it's just like a 355 in it or something like that.
Right. I can hear Big Jed on the other screen, so I'm gonna switch us over. Get ready, guys. Let's get us big up on the Motor Mania stream here and get some volume going. Let's get back to the live, because I ain't live right now. So let's get back on live, and let's turn. All I hear is music. That ain't good enough. Casey, we can talk over music, big dog. I don't want to hear no music. I want to hear some talking. All right. So Jack Nicholson, I will get cut up more as the race continues. You think? I don't know, man. I don't think they're gonna chop it much more than that. That's a heck of a split all the way down, man. You telling me if I lost right here, I get 10 G's to go home with? See you later. Bye.
Exactly.
I would love to see you in the next round now. Don't get me twisted. But I'm with Wayne Duke. I'd be fine with that. You know. Who said we need to get a GBR car in the mix, man? I feel you. I wish I was here right now with my old S-Dom, and old Mo could run with these boys. I know he could.
Hey man, I'd love to be there. I mean, I've been telling a lot of my buddies that to be honest with you, I just want to participate in the OG Million. If I won some money, that'd be even cooler, obviously. But that's just been something. I remember when the first OG Million happened in the 90s. I was a little kid back then, and I remember talking or having my dad's buddies all talking about it and everything, and it just always seemed really cool. And it's just something I always wanted to do, and one day I will end up there. I promise you that.
Right. As I switch it back over to TJ Pruitt's stream, he's still up here, and I'll keep sending him on for
real
now.
Deep one round.
And,
yeah, that's the best part, having Oki in it.
Put him back in here and hear what he's still talking about.
I'd like to take just a moment and send our thoughts and prayers, especially my thoughts and prayers personally.
Man, that guy's got him a nice driving
family
suit.
and
All right,
friends
so let's
of
make a
Don.
lap, see who's in, and we'll
Don is the driver of
make a
the
lap loop on the dragster side.
infamous 55 Chevrolet branded wrapped tube chassis car from the Knoxville area. Don,
We got one door
one of the
truck in the
most
mix.
loved guys in the pits everywhere
Two.
he's at.
We got two door
Highly
trucks in the mix.
respected, talented,
What's up,
nice,
Shad?
genuine, helpful.
This thing's
He's
badass.
everything that
It is.
any of us aspire to be. Unfortunately, Don passed last night at Knoxville Dragway. My understanding is it was swimming
Good luck, buddy.
in his motorhome.
Hey, good luck to you.
Unfortunately, he had a medical
Up.
Will Holloman hanging
Will
tight in
Holloman.
the S10. Will has been on fire in
That's true.
this S10.
As TJ just
Will's
says,
bad.
Will has been on fire. I agree. Jock
On the
Nicholson
dragster
saying,
side,
my
so we
rule
got
is I'd have to win
Chasing
local
catfish
at
hanging
least
tight.
3 to 5 times in a year to think about going down there. You know,
Yep.
Jock, man, I'm with you. 2 G's. Is that what it was to enter this too?
$2,000 for a single entry, yeah, and then 500 if you got to buy back.
Hey, Jock, that's my house note, man. I can't gamble my house payment now, guys. $100 to enter, yeah, count me in all day long. Or I get to go to one big money race, maybe 2 per year, but that's me being a budget man, budgeting myself as he continues to walk through here, and you guys get to see all these dragsters. I'll cut me and Casey back on the screen here so you can so you can get a look at us while we're talking here. But you know, I only get to race a couple of big money races per year, but it's because I've saved. Starting now, like I'm pretty much out of budget. Hey, wife, loan me a couple $100 for next week. But but that's how I get it done. So I get that, Jock. And Lance Craft, my rule. That's who actually said this. Lance Craft said this. I'm sorry. Lance Craft says he'd have to win 3 to 5 times. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you.
I agree with that, and I think there's a lot of people that are in that same boat. Really, I think that a lot of people that are at this race probably said, well, they had a good year. They have the exact same thing going on, like what I was just talking about, where you know, this is like a bucket list thing for them to do. They probably had a good racing year, won a little bit of money locally, and you know, if you can win one local race on average, that's going to be somewhere around $1,000 or $2,000. Well, the thing is like, you can save money and you can come up with $1,000. It's just really hard to fork over 2. You know, that's just how I feel anyway.
Right. I feel the same way. I can't just throw $2,000. I mean, what can I get with $2,000 to make my race car better? Wayne Duke says I'm there next year. Hey man, I feel you. The only way I'm there next year, if you're listening, I'm usually average like 008, 007. I can look if you want me to. If you want to. What'd you say?
Eric White has a good idea over here. He says maybe local tracks could race for big money entries. So basically I think what he's saying is, and I think there are a couple tracks that they do promotional type deals through for some events. And that's oh, here we go. Getting ready to go down the track.
I was just going to say that. Turning it on. Dave Triplett coming out.
His familiar Vega out of Eustis,
you won't hear much out of us during the rounds. Casey, don't forget you're ahead of everybody somehow. but I think I'll take Dave Triplett in this round, just for the record.
I don't know, man. It's in the history of this event. Obviously, Dave Triplett is Dave Triplett's a great racer. He's won this event twice, been to 3 finals, but it's Aaron Vail in the other lane. So
good point.
Aaron
hey, no giving out the win. Just smile.
Aaron out of Indiana, 6:28. Vail getting 5,500's head start on Dave Triplett in the left lane. Vail with the advantage, and Aaron Vail. 12 dead, 1 13 thousandths package for Aaron Vail, and he moves to the round of a dozen.
13
Triplett,
total.
16.
Yep.
Take 3
I told you, man.
To be 6,000.
Can't count them out.
Was packaged up. Vail's 13
is this Mikey
total.
Bloomfield? This is
Triplett
Bloomfield.
Is 16 up
yep.
front.
In the trap.
Left him locked out of that one. Mikey Bloomfield next up in the left lane. 6:19 to dial out of Ohio. Mississippi's Tommy Castanado in the right. Castanado dial 566. Bloomfield leaves first. Castanado try to run him down. 5,000's the difference. Advantage going to Tommy Castanado, and Castanado moves into the round of 12-16, dead 4, taking 12 thou at the stripe, 20 package for Castanado. Bloomfield is 21 and 11 thou.
So this one coming up, this is Sean Carpenter's first entry. Remember, he's doubled in this round.
In the left lane, 577 is the dial. Right side, that's my dog, Mitchell Reeves. Mitchell out of Birmingham area, dialed 641. Reeves getting about a 7/10 head start in the right lane. Mitchell Reeves in control. Mitchell Reeves, 15 dead 9, 24 pack.
It's safe to say if you're not 25 or better package, you will lose, because every package so far has been right around that 15 to that 25 range, I believe, if I'm not mistaken myself. Here's one of those fast cars now. I'm telling you, this old Corvette, this old Camaro's been tearing people up.
Yeah, but he's running the Malibu that has been known to go all over the country and run dead on no matter where he is. This thing will go between 618 and 620, and it will go whatever is on the side of the car every time.
He's got a 21 on it. This is Aaron Dysinger. This kid's been on fire.
But I was excited. 621 is the dial for AD North. Guys, here got work to do right here. Scott Taylor with the advantage.
I told you.
Reisinger, 33 did 3. Moving on.
Somebody gave the stripe up.
21 and 15 thou above, both.
Yep. Nope.
36 packages.
Nope. He gave the stripe up. Both of them 36 pack.
005.
Gave it up. Gave it up. 0005. Come on. Doggone it. Oh, hey. Take it and
What
run.
did it go, George? It did exactly what I said. It went what was on the
Dead
side
on.
of the window.
Next up in the left, 499
You mean he made it go dead on? Because I guarantee you had something in his hand.
Also on a heater. Dial 582 in the S10.
I feel like I've seen this flip-a-dial car out here in Ardmore, so I think this is
As the dragsters and
around this
girl cars
area.
Picks up in the last pair of door cars.
I've seen him a lot lately.
Will Holloman's been on fire lately.
Come on, door
Trying
trucks.
to continue his march towards the first OG $1 million race victory. He'll leave first on Gibson, see if he can hold him off.
Flipping down, got him.
Wayne Gibson.
Stay behind him.
Advances to the round of a dozen, 15 and 17 thou above. Excuse me, 27 thou above.
He dropped him.
Ouch.
Yep.
Will Holloman.
Had about 30 at the
is
stripe.
Going to be very disappointed.
He had about 30.
13, take 30.
Now I told you, he had 30 at the stripe.
Had to take
That's
20
that's
at the
not a
rest.
Will Holloman move usually
No,
either.
he got fed 30, right? Let's not get it twisted.
Advances
But he had at least 30. I could see
to
that much.
Round number 7.
That might have been one of those scenarios where you look back and look forward, and you look back a
And
little
it's too late.
long.
Yep. Wow.
Left
Here goes
lane,
the lone
Jesse
cars.
Bobo, out of Mississippi. Dial 456.
This will be a good race right here.
AJ Ash also out of Mississippi. Dial 455. Basically a heads-up race. And Bobo is in control, but
Ash.
AJ
Wow.
Ash gets by 19 dead 0 for
Triple O
Ash,
what?
19 pack.
Somebody gave it. He gave it the stripe
006
again.
and 13 thou over for Bobo, 19 pack.
There it is
Bobo.
again.
Margin of victory going
Triple O what?
Ash's way.
Yep.
Triple O.
Bobo's been known.
0,
He holds a lot.
8.
And I
Triple
wonder-
08 and gave the stripe back.
Yep.
He gave the
The
stripe
right
back.
lane AJ Ash as he advances.
Oh my goodness, this is excellent racing. Oh gee whiz.
The million does not
Trevor
disappoint.
McDaniel next up in the left lane. 458 is the dial. Right side, Chris Whitfield. Whitfield out of Colorado, dial 466. Not stellar in either lane. Both have a shot, and McDaniel gets the double breakout win. McDaniel 34 up front, 8 thou under. He advances to round number 7. Whitfield 36 and 25 thou under. Got there 15 thou. Needed to be behind 2 thou or more. McDaniel a 17 thou win light. Moving into round number 7. Skinny Kenny Underwood next up in the left lane. 478.
This is a name that's been needing to be down in deep.
Boom, boom, Butler. That's
Hadn't
my
been hearing
dog.
Skinny Kenny,
Dial 480.
I
Kenny
haven't
down deep in a while. So
Yep, that's the truth,
Boom,
man.
boom,
But he
Butler
always
races
shows
the
up in the
race with a
million,
lot
doesn't he?
back home.
True that.
From the Birmingham area. He's got a heavy hitter in that left
pretty sure
lane,
this is
former
Okie
$1 million
Doki's
race
entry.
winner, Kenny Underwood.
Underwood.
Underwood, 25, take 2 to be 10 thou above. Butler, 29, dead 8.
You can't beat 29 versus Kenny
37
Underwood.
pack.
I'm sorry. Can't do it. That's
Thou
giving him
behind
too much
the
room.
35 pack of Skinny Kenny. And Kenny Underwood moves to the round of 12.
And Kenny Underwood's been there twice before.
Right.
Tucker Canzelar in the left lane, 456. Christopher Dodd.
Should have 4 pair left, I think.
469. Dodd getting 1,300 head start. Couple of young all-stars right here.
Yeah, I agree with Mopar Man here. It's a good. I'm very, very thrilled not to see red lights going on right now. I am. I'd like to see a few more double O's down the other side, but hey, it's that much money on the line.
Well, man, this is the time of day that I'm actually very surprised there haven't been a lot of red lights. Look at how dark it's on the tree.
It's dusk, and the tree should glare at you a little bit more right here. We've talked
Maybe
about
everybody
that quite a
pointed
few
it up.
times. Right.
We're also talking about a lot of people who are used to being this late in rounds. They might have put it in.
Only 5 thou difference. Canzelar. Nasty lap right there. 5 dead 6, 11 thou package with the pressure.
Cancelar's been doing that all day.
Dodd had a chance.
All day. Dodd did have a chance here.
To be 3 thou under.
Ouch.
Had to take 1 or less.
So who did Cancelar take out there?
Had
Dodd.
to trim that finish line by
Dodd.
75%.
Yep.
When you put it that way, it makes you understand how difficult it was.
Yeah. Yeah, he had room, but he didn't have room. Is basically what I just heard Jed say.
Tom Staba in the left lane, 486 is the dial. Donnie Burleson in the right, dial 440.
Man, that's an awesome car. Chrome works.
That is the Ultratech car.
Ultratech. Ah, he's red.
006 and 7
Yeah, if you
above
haven't-
the dial.
If you haven't seen
He
it,
comes through.
those Ultratech cars make Chromeworks cars look like junk, man. They are nice.
Here's a call out of Troy Abercrombie. If
Tom
Kenny
Staba
becomes a
takes
three-time
it down to a
million
dozen.
champ, is that GOAT status? Considering
Gotta
the
be.
competition,
It's got to be.
it's
I mean,
got to be in
everybody's
the.
here.
It's got to be in the competition, or excuse me, in the conversation, for sure. It ain't like Kenny.
Catfish
It ain't
putting
like
on a
Kenny.
show
Kenny
out
Underwood
there.
hadn't won on every level that there is right now, though. So
Burns are out
Right.
to half track. Racing Jason in the left lane. dial
Lynch.
Here's
441.
Catfish.
And Carpenter.
yep.
He's a former million.
Carpenter knows exactly what he's going to run because he just went down 5 minutes ago.
But he was in the other lane.
Carpenter in the right lane.
True.
Yep.
Carpenter in the door card.
It's a
dial
little bit of a wrinkle. I hope the
574.
best for him. I'm going for the doors too.
Dude, Sean is one of the best door car racers in the Carolina area. So it's and he's been driving this car for 20 years. So you never know what could happen here, man. And Jason Lynch is definitely someone you don't want to see in the other lane, but Sean isn't either a lot of times.
I've had the luxury of racing Catfish one time.
How'd it go?
I got him by 003.
Big advantage in the left lane.
Sorry,
to
Doors.
Racing Jason, and
Yeah,
he
I could
moves
see
on
that.
12 and 13,000
You missed the
above.
tree. Can't do nothing if you're
25
missing it.
package for
Yeah,
Lynch.
but to go out twice right there, Sean brought home $20,000.
20
20
Gs.
So-
under. Racing Jason packaged him up.
Yeah, he's packaged. Can't do nothing about that. Nah, I hear you, Mopar Man. Mopar Man's in here crying because a door car didn't get through. Let's shut down this stream and see what's going on somewhere else. Actually, let's let this play. This is sponsors for Motor Mania TV. We'll let them play out. Can't have a live stream without these
Motorsports
sponsors here,
Insurance,
guys.
4 generations in the insurance business and over 30 years in motorsports, offering package policy for all your valuable racing equipment, on the road or at the track. Be a winner with Larice Motorsports Insurance. Go to Facebook today.
It's a missed one.
Get a quote from Larice Motorsports Insurance.
What'd you miss?
I feel like I feel like I didn't see Ferraro run. Unless that isn't the right person.
With Lucas Oil's fuel treatment,
I think you're right. I don't think I saw it either.
These guys are racing for pink slips.
Maybe there's one more pair sitting back there or something.
Lucas fuel treatment gives cars of all ages the edge they need. It cleans your car's entire fuel system, improving mileage, taking.
It's a pretty funny commercial, if I must say so myself.
Take home a winner with Lucas fuel treatment.
Racers, when it is time for your next race trailer, built the way you want without compromise, look no further than Vintage Trailers. Troy Stone and the entire Vintage team has been in the custom race car trailer business for over 27 years, and for over 22 years racing alongside you using the products they build and sell. Vintage Trailers can put you in exactly the right equipment, whether it's with living quarters, bath facilities, traditional rig, or a stacker, with over 24 designs in-house or built to your specifications. No matter what the need for you, your team, or your entire race operation, Vintage Trailers has what you need. Just look for the slime green rig at the next race to see the quality Vintage manufactured custom stacker, or check them out on the web at vintagetrailers.com. Vintage Trailers, quality by design.
TSR Racing Products has everything you need to make your Powerglide Turbo 350, Turbo 400, and 727 transmissions the best they can be on the street or at the track. With exceptional products, customer service, and over 30 years of experience, TSR Racing Products is always available to help their customers with any of their transmission needs. In-house machining ensures you only receive the best products from TSR Racing. Visit TSR Racing Products at tsr-racing.com or give them a call at 800-394-5889.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts. Have a look at top-selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177. All right. Welcome back, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Motormania TV, for everything you do, all the sponsors out there for Motormania to keep it free to the racers. We can't have Live from the 8th Mile without you. I'm going to cut us back into a race real quick, though, guys. We got one left, and I'll come back and thank my sponsors as well, TSR and BRG 3D printed parts. 1 second here. Here's that race you were talking about, Casey. You said we were missing one.
Yep. This door car's fast, too.
Yeah, it's 480s, I think.
Mm-hmm. Look how dark the tree is. I almost guarantee you somebody's red lighting right now.
I feel like somebody knows it. I think you hit it on the head already. Back-to-back triple zeros. Here's your red light. Here's your red light. Race Tarleton. If he didn't throw 5 in the box, and he's 00, if he's 00 here, he threw 5 in the box. That's all I got.
429. Going to give up a 6/10 head start to Race Tarleton in the left lane. Winner advances to the round of 12. Tarleton
pure poison.
Retain his bye run, which he will still have to run for a little while.
Man,
but if it lands at 3 and
if he keeps this bye run, that is extremely valuable. But he's got to keep it this round. He's got to keep it next round and the next round.
Taylor will chase.
Don't give up any secrets now. It ain't happened for me yet.
That's $100,000 difference if he keeps that.
He nuked the tree.
Taylor
he nuked it.
Had the tree advantage, but the win light goes to Tarleton.
20 what?
Race Tarleton is 33.
Oh, wow.
Take 13 thou at the stripe. And he goes
10
thou above 40.
So that wasn't Bailey Ferraro.
It wasn't.
Somebody else.
11.
Yep, let's cut us back into the stream here. Taylor got through right there, and I knew he missed that tree. He missed that tree pretty good. The way it looked when he left the line, the Dragster definitely had the upper hand. And to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 45 hun above, good Lord. Yeah, man, you're out there just whacking. Hey, but it's a lot to say about these fast door cars. You got to remember, he's not done mile an hour, and okay, he's still going to have some more mile an hour at that finish line. You got to keep that in the back of your mind. As TJ ended his stream, we can't go back there. We'll keep up with what's going on live here at the OG. What a day. That's all I got, guys. This is pretty awesome. So
yeah, I got the list over here right now. It looks like we got Reeves, Vale, Flippadile, and the Roadster.
Yep.
Dysinger, Castanano, something like that. Sorry, I don't know what his name is. Tarleton, Ash, Underwood, McDaniel, Stalba, Cancelar, and Lynch.
Right.
And I believe this is one of the races that has eluded Jason Lynch for all these years. So it might be Jason Lynch. I mean, realistically, if I'm looking at this list right now, and I know you don't have it in front of you, George, I'd say if you had to say, Casey, who are you picking right now? I mean, I'm torn between AJ Ash and Jason Lynch, to be honest with you.
Right. Right now, I'm honest. Jason Lynch and AJ Ash, they're going to have to race each other. They're in dragsters. So I don't think that there's a split there. It's door car, dragster down to the end, if I'm not mistaken myself. They're going to be racing each other pretty soon.
I thought that they were on a ladder by now, probably.
That would be fine by me, but I think we only seen one door car versus dragster matchup, and that's because somebody was doubled. Am I wrong?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, it's hard to say. I know I would almost guarantee you they're going to be on a ladder now because they're at 12 cars. It usually happens at 16, so they might not have been that round.
Sure. Man, I'll tell you what, though. We're back, and I didn't get a chance to say thank you to TSR and BRG. You guys rock. Thanks for everything that you do. I know you guys, if you have business that you do, you need to get an advertisement going on here. Going Bracket Racing is a good good place to stop at. Getting closer to that 200,000 mark reached per stream, Casey. So, or per month, should I say? So that's a pretty big doggone number. You see that your ad here sign right there? Hey, put your name in there if you'd like. Just give us a call. Fixing Used Race Cars got his money on Underwood. Eric White, yep, so right, George. Happened to me last week. Give it back 003 to a fast door car. Yeah, man, you got to remember, they're going to keep closing. It's a 480 door car, okay? It's not a dragster, number one. So I'm believing here that that 420 car ran up on him and was like, hey, number one, killing that much makes me think he wasn't holding much. Casey, let's have that conversation real quick, okay? To be 45 hun above.
Yeah.
Could you have really been holding that much?
No, man. That's why I really think that he got around him. I think he got to whacking the throttle, and I think he gotten kind of the whacking the throttle habit whenever you do it like 3 times in a row, it's like that 4th time is just habit. And I think he whacked it one too many times and let his man around him.
I think you're right, man. I think that, and once you get that one final whack, you still got to take into consideration that this car is going to run above 140 mile an hour. This isn't a six flat car, a 605, or me and Mo. Well, I run 117 mile. This ain't that. Okay, so that one last whack, I wrote it down right here because I wanted to talk about it. Give it back triple O. We heard that twice, and I'm talking by pretty good doggone racers. We heard it being given back twice by Triple O. So it just goes to show you, man. It's sometimes that one whack will get you in a world of trouble. I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced that, especially you, Eric White, by 003 that last time out.
Yep. Yeah, we've all been there, man. I like Bracket Racer 9622 here saying that's why everybody should just have fast door cars. Yeah. They're cooler.
Yeah. I know you're building the old Firebird to be pretty quick. I know my dad has put the big motor back into the Corvette. It's gonna be pretty quick, maybe slowed down just a little bit, but making a whole lot of steam under the hood of that old Corvette. So I believe that car's got every bit of high 460s in it, but we don't need to move that fast, I don't think. So you'll see it slowed up to about the 80s or the 90s, I bet.
Yeah, man. I mean, realistically, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, whenever we were just filling the air earlier, um, I just, my Firebird's kind of going to be a deal. Eventually, I'll bracket race it, but it's something kind of to play with and just kind of go to test and tune and stuff, and mess around with for a little while. And once I get it lined out, then I'll have it out there running some sort of bracket races for sure around on a local type deal. Until then, of course, I got the Nova.
Sure.
Dave out there at Galati runs the lanes at Galati. He calls the Nova Old Faithful. So always can turn to the Nova until the Firebird's ready anyway.
My old man's called me twice. I know he doesn't know I'm live, so I ain't gonna call him back yet. But getting down to the nitty gritty right about now, man. So 12 cards remain. What are we gonna see next round? I believe in the next round it ought to be dark completely, and that things might get a little bit interesting as far as for the tree goes. I know that at dusk, and this is just me personally, guys. I don't know if you guys have this down to, to how you race when you're in a car. But when it goes dark, I get a little bit slower off the hit. Now at dusk, I get faster, but all of a sudden I get slower. I don't know if it's because if it's in the dark. Let me be honest. Watch this, guys. I do this quite a bit, and I don't know if anybody else does this. I'm gonna try to depict it as best as I can with a little experiment. But watch this. You see my tree flashing, right? Okay, check this out. Whenever I go up here and do this, look how dark it gets on that tree. That's what I feel like's going on, and I try to do a little practicing like this to where I get a chance at hitting it in the dark like this. But I am slow like this here. I'll even do this a little bit, kind of take a little light on, a little off. But just saying that I know enough about myself to know that if you're not, you might have added 5 for dusk, but I think you might want to take that 5 and maybe 5 more out for darkness. That's just me. Okay, so what do you think, Casey? You have a tell whenever it comes to dark time, or you just do the same thing and hope for the best?
I do a lot of stuff off field, man. Like I know a lot of people, practice certain scenarios, and a lot of people have theories on everything. I mean, I realistically go up there, and I've done this forever. It's always worked for me. It's how I was taught to do it from my dad. And it's like, do you feel tired? Because if you feel tired, it doesn't matter what that tree looks like because you're going to be slow. Like the fact of the matter is, Ken Jones always says the cards don't lie. And the reason he says that is because back in the day, you used to have actual handwritten cards. They weren't time slips, they were cards. And he always told us the cards don't lie. You just have to believe what that card says. And if you feel like you hit it and that says that you're 28 on the tree, you need to take it out, because guess what? You're going to go up there again. You're going to hit it again. You're going to know you hit it. You're going to be 24 and you're going to lose, and you just got to do it, man. Like that's the reason, for example, they have Johnny Bracket Racer right now on Motor Mania getting interviewed as one of the million winners. Guess what? The year after he won the million, that was the next year, he rounded up the very first SFG 525. And he's constantly in the finals. He's constantly winning. I know you know this, George, because he runs down there around you a whole bunch and dominates that area along with the Penningtons. But guess what? Every once in a while, JBR will red light one away. And that's probably something he could have won. But, you got to set up tight and you got to trust yourself. And I think the reason Johnny is so good is because I think Johnny trusts himself and his feeling and what everything is like more than anybody that's racing right now.
Yep, I think that's a very true statement. A very true statement, as a matter of fact. And it's just a fact that I trust myself to know that I'm going to be a little slower at night. So I'm pulling that 5 thou. Okay? And if I added 5 thou to compensate for dusk, well, I'm going to pull that one and another 5. Or at least another 3. But something's coming out. You know what I mean? So I've got Mike Nelson in here saying he runs 5 teens at 134 through 136 in his door car. He says it's fast, it's a lot of fun, and he loves racing dragsters where most dark car people don't. I'll take your thought, Mike, and take it into my consideration. I've never driven a dragster. Casey, I know you have. Considering I just read on the other side here, I read Fixing Used Race Cars comment where he says, "What do you know? Casey has a different car coming again." Laugh out loud. Had what is that, 4 this year? It might be 4 Fixing Used Race Cars. I don't know. But old Casey has a new car just about every other month, it seems like. But
I went on a streak there for a while where I kind of went off the rails.
I've never ran a dragster, and I told my dad the other day, I said, "Hey, Dad, it's getting time for me to get in one of those dragsters for one reason and one reason only. I don't necessarily want to own a dragster because guess what? I don't have the garage space for a dragster. I don't have an enclosed trailer. I have an open trailer. But I want to run a dragster just for the simple fact that I need to know how they close on a door car.
Exactly.
I need
and that's
to know
what
it.
I was going to say.
I need to know it for that main reason.
I think it is highly beneficial to run all kinds of different race cars, fast door car, slow door car, fast dragster, slow dragster type things, if possible. And I know that's not exactly, in the cards for a lot of people, but if you have the opportunity, it just helps you understand what's going on so much more as far as the race developing, going down the track, because you've been in every position at that point. That's the reason why a lot of these guys, for example, Will Holloman, who wins in everything you put him in, he can win in a dragster. He can win in a mid speed, I guess you would say, door truck. He could win in a door car. He could win in anything, and that's because he drives everything. And that's the reason I think that he does so good too. He's one of the best stripe drivers in the game right now.
It's a fact, and it doesn't matter if he's against a slow car or a fast car. He's going to have a few dimes or a few nickels in his pocket. Okay, he's going to have a little change in there, and then get rid of it to drop it back to dead on, almost effortlessly, which is pretty. That's the best word that I can use, and it's a good word for the moment. I see Bracket Racer 1 saying JBR is the best right now. He's definitely among the best. Definitely, there's no taking that back. Like Casey said, I get to watch him a little bit. Being here, I'm right down here, and I get to race in northern Dallas a little bit, and that ain't very far from where the Ezels are. So definitely, man, it's definitely definitely a good comment there. See Crew Chief Pro Software chiming in there. Hey, welcome in, Mr. Higgins. And is it Don? What's his last name? Is it Higgins, right? Yeah, I thought
Don
so.
Higgins.
Yep.
If you want to learn about Crew Chief Pro Software, we did a long interview with Don Higgins as one of our guests on our Tuesday show that's live every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 Central on Facebook and YouTube. And obviously we get it on podcast as well. You can go listen to the podcast, but Don fully explained Crew Chief Pro Software, kind of how he came up with it and how it works and the ins and outs of it. It's a great, very informative show to watch if you're at all interested in ET prediction software. He's got a great one over there, so go check that episode out.
I'm gonna be honest with you. After watching that show, I've already began to line my ducks in a row. Dead presidents, whatever you want to call them, a couple of Benjamins, whatever I'm going to need here. But I will have Crew Chief Pro Software come 2023 if I don't have it by the end of this week, to be honest, because I'm going to be out racing at XRP for the Halloween race. The air is going to be substantially better than what it's been every time I've been out there. I've got that old Yellow Jegs logbook, and I'm lazy. I'd love to be able to take a laptop, open up Crew Chief Pro, check my weather, put my data log in there, and I've got about 10 other buddies thinking about doing the same thing. So, Casey, man, that's going to definitely be part of my racing rig next year. What about you?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know me. You never know what I'm doing week to week ever. I got the Nova squared away. I even got new tires on it already, which, by the way, I've heard from some insiders that deal with a lot of tire stuff that there's going to be another tire shortage. So if you need some for your car next year, you need to get them ordered now. And I also heard that there's a lot of people going back to Goodyears too. If you noticed, Nick Hastings has Goodyears on the back of his car right now.
Let me be honest with you. Didn't Goodyear buy Mickey Thompson? So don't they have the best of both worlds when it comes to knowledge and what it would take to put a good bracket tire on a track?
I personally don't.
I run Hoosiers. Don't get me twisted.
Yeah.
I'm a Hoosier guy.
Yeah. So
right.
So do I. And realistically, that's just because, my buddy Champ's one of my best friends, and he's buddies with Lucas Walker, and Lucas Walker deals in Hoosier. If Lucas
Right.
Walker dealt in Goodyear, I'd probably have those.
Right.
It's just I don't believe the hype with all the people freaking out about tires with this, tires with that. Some people say that these tires shake, those tires shake, and then you go and look, and then there's somebody going a full second faster than you that isn't shaking. It's car setup. And people want to blame it on something else. Realistically, I've won races on every major brand tire.
Right.
And
I think I'm experiencing that firsthand too. I think as I find my place with Mo, he's got new shocks on him. He's a Ford-Link car. I feel like there may be a few more adjustments left, maybe even adding weight in the back of that Joker, because the back of those S10s, and I'm new to the S10 game, but the back of those S10s, they are pretty light as it is. So, I think there's a lot to go behind what you're saying, Casey. It's not always going to be the tire's fault, the reason why you're not repeating 60 foot to the thou, right?
Exactly. I mean, an old tire is bad and a new tire is good, and it doesn't really matter what's what. Everybody that also says, I always kind of laugh about it, and I know it's totally different compounds and everything, but it is funny to me that people complain about, certain tires shaking or certain tires are better than others, and then you sit here and you're like, every top fuel dragster and top fuel funny car in the country runs Goodyear tires. Every alcohol funny car seems like it's on Hoosier tires. Right. Every Pro Mod runs Hoosier tires, or Goodyear tires. I mean, It just doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, let's cut this back in here. We got drag coverage live again, and looks like they're about to do some talking. Maybe we will see another split. Shocking. Turn some of that noise down. I don't know what the heck that was. But no, Casey, man, I think it's going to be a good year next year. I think that there's a lot of new things that's going to be happening in my stable as far as am I going to be on a carburetor or am I going to go injection? That's up in the air. So going to be some things going on. Let's turn this up and hear what's going on here.
I can only imagine how things are feeling inside of those final 12 competitors. The nerves and the excitement, all that stuff happens when you're out of the car.
Chancellor was deep here 2 years ago.
As Nick Pope said, in the winter circle, the Summit 50K winter circle, you kind of let all that
20 to lose here, 40 to lose the next round.
20 to lose here, 40 to lose the next round. Is that different?
Come back out here and show us some great races.
What's left?
Yeah.
12's left.
It was going to be 15 and 25.
20 to lose here, catfish.
20 to lose here.
Jason's good with it. You got a race up there, something.
Must have took more out of the
Mitchell
time.
Seymour.
I'm going to call my dad back real quick. I
Reeves.
know he's got some questions. I'm going to mute my mic for a second.
Mitchell Reeves coming off a win last week,
What'd you say,
still
Pop?
hanging tight in the Nova. Mitchell Reeves. Yeah, says 20 to lose here, 40 to lose the next round, and we'll get the rest of it once. Hey, you're welcome, Jerome. $20, 40, and 60. 20 to lose this round, 40 to lose the next, 60 to lose the next round. I think they said 300 something left in the finals. We'll find out here once they get the pairings.
again, I want to take this time to thank the racers and the sponsors.
Okay.
Everybody involved. Man, what a great team effort this has been.
You okay with that?
Yeah. All week long. Weather challenges have become less and less.
That's right, Reeves. 20 to lose. Too.
Really ending this thing. It's
Bench.
beautiful weather.
Okay, so this is
Perfect for racing.
Set. Right, that's up.
20 to lose here.
Certainly
20
appreciate
is
the
it?
staff here at Capital City Motorsports Park. This staff.
Next round.
60.
Put in a lot of hours.
Wow.
Those hours
Hey, by the way,
start from
Casey, my dad on the phone. I'm on the phone with
So
him.
the
He
winner
says
and runner-up
he
has
picked the
already
win.
been set.
He takes Catfish. I take AJ Ash.
215
I
and
think
one.
they're gonna have to race
Awesome.
each other
Everything's structured from here on.
before that happens.
All right.
Yeah.
Get the buy it
And he said, don't sleep on Skinny Kenny
gonna be
Underwood
nice. We
either,
need
because
to
he's
buy
still
it.
in it.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Well, that's the true statement, right? Right?
Still in? You still in?
Capital City Motorsports Park. Thank you.
Good job, Race.
Thank you.
Hey,
job,
Aaron
boss.
Dysinger's left too, Casey. Hey, you taking doors? Are you taking doors? Hey, chat. Who you guys taking to win this thing?
This team.
Jennifer's not too cold now. It's been in the 30s all week.
Yep, Dysinger's still in it too, so he's been hot. So he's been hot. All right. Yeah, Casey. That was my dad there, of course. He says he's taking Catfish, and I said it before. You can't give that guy. You can't give him round after round after round after round after round because he's catfishing you at that point. All right. So
Yep. So I couldn't hear what they were saying. I heard they were doing, so it was 10 last round if you lost. Then now they're redoing the split right now. They changed it. It was going to be 15 to lose this round, 25 next. Now it's 20, 40, 60. So they must have cut some out of the top, in my opinion.
They cut a little bit more out.
So-
Monty Howard, what was the winner and runner-up money? It was 300 and something to win it. Okay, or shall I say, I think it's 300 and something to win it. With that last split, it got changed, so I don't have the exact numbers up top anymore. At first, it was 300 something to win it, Monty. We'll get the inside scoop from drag coverage here in a little bit. Jim Davis is taking Skinny Kenny. I know Mopar Man's gonna take doors. I'm gonna go to YouTube real quick. I know Mopar is gonna take door car. Let's see who Mopar's taking. Only problem I have with GBR, I decrease my personal Jeep Ghost domestic product. Currently, I'm supposed to be working on the Challenger. 40K to lose, crazy. He hadn't picked anybody one yet. So I don't know, man. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. What you calculating? What you got, Casey?
Got it now. So the purse structure now, as it stands, it was 10 grand to lose last round. They have now changed from here on. It's going to be 20,000 to lose this round. It's going to be 40,000 the following round, 60 the following round, and then the winner and runner-up will be 215,000 to win, 140,000 to runner-up.
Wow.
So it's like fixing used race cars. In here said someone who didn't want to split it enough must have lost. That's obviously, that has to be what happened.
Somebody hanging up. Yep.
Yeah. So everybody's happy now, I'd say, whoever took them out.
So we got some choices in here. I got Monty Howard chiming in. At first I thought him say he's taking a dragster. Let me see here. And then he says, I'm taking Dysinger. That ain't no dragster, but it's a good choice.
Dysinger is a very good choice.
Very good choice. No, I'm sorry. I read it wrong. He didn't say I'm taking a dragster. He said I'm taking Dysinger. That's a good call. It's a great call. The guy just came off of a win, didn't he?
Dysinger's been winning all year, dude. He runnered up in at what was supposed to be the 1.1 million in Michigan.
Yeah.
Dysinger, I want to say, runnered that up to that purple car that I believe was one of the McCarty cars for a while, I think.
Right.
But yeah, Dysinger, ever since, I mean, I think it was a little before that, but I know since then, he's been on fire since then. And like I said, that car, in my opinion, as long as he stays on the tree, that probably is the best pick, really, out of this entire list, as long as he hits the tree, because that's the most consistent car out there right now.
But he got away with one last round, didn't he? Am I right about that?
I believe so. I believe he might have.
Somebody give it back to him. Yep. Mm-hmm. Somebody give it back to him. So
that might have been the one he needed. Everybody needs a lucky round. That might have been the lucky round he needed to get to the finals.
I think that's Champ on the stream. Shout out Champ's Performance, by the way. One of our other sponsors, back in the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. Can't do it without you guys. Thank you very much.
I feel like the lanes is one of the coolest parts.
I think he's right. He said the lanes is one of the coolest parts right now. I guarantee it, because everybody's in the lanes and everybody's having a good time. There's old Paige Hamlin right there. So I'd like to have seen my choice Scooter Hamlin be able to get some races in. And I think he threw a rod. He had a hole in his oil pan. That's never a good sign. So
no, that's a bad day.
Pretty sure he threw a rod there.
Did everybody see the Nova wagon, the orange Nova wagon, standing on the bumper yesterday to 300 foot?
Yep, we did. I seen a lot of people ask to buy that car back. You know, a lot of people saying that he's got to be in the next round. So I know, guys, you might hear a little bit more background noise than normal. I know you hear my computer fan screaming, but my my noise canceling product is out of 3 minutes. So we do Going Bracket Racing on a budget as well. It'll get better, trust me.
Looky here, we got old Quez in here right now. Afternoon, boys. It's nighttime, Quez.
Quite a few door cars still.
Yeah, man, this is just a crazy million, dude. Like, I mean, there hasn't been the typical last couple years worth of craziness going on. I know that there were a lot of people, at least earlier in the week, and I know they did a lot of track maintenance right after door car first round.
Yep.
Now, what's crazy to me is that on one hand, you're like, well, man, maybe the track isn't that good. I mean, obviously it's good now. After they prepped it, it's good. Ever since they were scraping on it and whatnot. But I thought it was interesting that, you know, some cars were having severe issues and other cars were having no problem at all. So it's just funny and it's the same type of car too. It wasn't like all fast door cars were having a problem or all slow door cars with small tires or whatever. It was a scenario where, you know, there'd be a car blow the tires off. There'd be another 69 Camaro right behind that running the same ET, and he'd pull the wheels, you know? Right. So is the chassis setup? Is that the problem?
You know, and we go track to track. That's one good reason to have, Casey, I know you have one. I don't have one quite yet. But it's one good reason to have a grid or some form of way to get data. We talk about that on Going Bracket Racing quite a bit. And it's another reason to have a way to adjust if it is shocks, if it is your double adjustables, whatever you got. So I think there's a lot of merit behind what you're saying in the early rounds for door cars. The hard part is you'd had to been out there watching to be able to see that the track was letting go a little bit. That's the hard part, in my opinion, where you're coming up and it's like, oh, well, every car is getting loose and heading to the left. Do you make an adjustment mid-fly? Is the other point.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, I mean, I've always been one to think that, first of all, it doesn't pay anything to win second round. It doesn't pay anything to win third round type thing. In this case, it does, but usually it doesn't. So I've always been of the opinion that maybe you can luck your way past this round by not changing something, but eventually you're going to get down to the money. Whenever you're down in the money, people didn't luck their way to the money usually, and they're going to stomp you into the ground because your car isn't working right. And you should have taken that opportunity to fix it, in my opinion, or at least try to do something, because typically if you do nothing, then you're eventually going to be a sitting duck. You're going to be a Quez the duck.
Yep. So, hey, I got a tip in the chat here. Thanks, Jim Davis. I don't have a sock in here. I know I was mentioning that my noise might be getting a little bit, getting some disturbance because my noise canceller ran out of minutes. But he says put a sock over the mic. That might help. I don't know why I didn't think about that. That is a pretty good idea. I don't have a sock in here, but I do weight lift 3 times a week in my my weightlifting gloves in here. So I threw that on top. See if that helps a little bit.
There's Quez is saying over here you could see bald spots on the live feed even earlier, and Fixing to Use Race Cars says he saw them too. The track was down to bare.
Yep.
So I guess it was peeling up. I mean, I know it's been cold out there. I know it's been dewy. And I also, Quez might know this actually, but I want to say there are actually 2 different types of traction compounds, one for colder weather and one for warmer weather. And a lot of the reason they have problems, a lot of the reason people have problems, or maybe it's a way you mix it different or something like that. But when people have problems, it's because they're trying to use that hot weather setup for the entire year rather than switching over to the new style. I don't know if it, because I think you mix alcohol actually with the traction compound, and that's how you make your special sauce or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. Yeah, cutting it with alcohol or trying to get your ratio right and but as I said before in the beginning of the stream, good job to the guys over here at Montgomery Capital City, I believe is what it's called now. And you guys had your hands full early on. I know I read Facebook. News never sleeps. I like to be up to date so that I can give the Going Bracket Racing YouTube fans, followers, Facebook followers, everybody a kind of an in-depth look at what's going on behind the scenes. So definitely have seen and heard a few complaints that I'm not probably going to hear after today. I'm pretty sure of that. And because it looks like we got a pretty good racing surface right now. So some tracks need to be ran in a little bit more than others, You try to take and put so many cars down it, just got to have a little bit of rubber down there. But Jack Nolan. You see
go
that?
ahead.
Yep,
Yeah.
Jack Nolan's chiming in. PJ1 is mixed with methanol. It has to be, but if you use VP, it's already cut down. Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So maybe
We
as far
got
as
some racing going
VP
on.
stuff,
Let's see.
do we got some cars lining up?
I'm looking. I see them moving. Nothing yet.
So maybe that goes back to the whole deal of if VP is pre-cut, then in theory you would be ordering a special formula, because they would cut it more or less, I would think, to work in different types of conditions. So maybe that's what I was thinking then.
Potentially. One Firebird, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for stepping in and sitting with us. We're talking about the OG Million, the granddaddy of them all. $640,000, I believe, was the grand total, Casey. If you can correct me if I'm wrong there, but man, they've done some serious chopping to that old $640,000. It's still going to equal out to a very, very, very big payday, life-changing payday for somebody. Casey, who do we have in the race left that is a relative no-namer? Is there one?
I don't really think there's a no-namer per se. I mean, I've heard of all these guys' names, but of course, with what we do, we kind of always do. I think that, Aaron Vale, he hasn't been around. It seems like, this year as much as he was going racing in the last couple years. But Aaron Vale is somebody who I think could definitely pull this off. And usually the reason I think that a lot of people aren't understanding who Aaron Vale is also is he's the guy that runs he has a red 93 or 4 Firebird that goes about 660s or something like that. And that's what people are usually used to seeing. But I really like this second-gen Firebird. I think it's cool. People don't have them. He's even got the little hood scoop up on there, like the stock-style hood scoop, 455 deal. And I really like that car. And I think if he pulls this off, he'll have another nice car next year.
Right. Here we go. I see some cars pulling in.
Oh, flip a dial.
Wayne Gibson next up in the left lane, 5 flat is the dial. He's in the roadster, right side, my dog. Mitchell Reeves. Mitchell won.
I feel like I just muted it. I'm sorry.
Jamie 641. Mitchell getting almost a full second head start. Winner to the quarterfinals.
Woo!
Gibson 21 dead 7 28 pack.
Ooh.
Reeves 21 take 8 to be
Well,
one.
so Reeves is going home with $20,000. Can you be mad?
Oh my
can't be
goodness,
mad about that.
heartbreaker for Mitchell Reeves. Gibson
Wow.
kicks the door in and goes to the round of 6.
Hey, Casey, they're on a ladder because I see a door car versus a dragster, so you're right about that, big dog.
Left lane racing Jason 441 is the dial. Lynch chasing Castanado. Tommy Castanado dial 566 in the right. There's one door car in the round of 6. Can Castanado make it 2?
Door cars, baby.
Going to score 1 for the lone cars.
I don't know if I like the color of that Camaro, but it sure is nice.
It's a pretty car. It's like a mustard orange almost, just like Grey Poupon.
Jason Lynch.
Nope. Yeah.
Lynch with the win light. 15 and 6 thou under. Castanado is 6, take 10.
Ooh.
So far, me and Big George are still in the race then, right? He picked it with me.
For Castanado, win light goes to racing.
This is going to be a good race right here.
Castanado needed to get on the brakes, bro.
Had to take 9 or less.
Or get behind.
Took 10. So far, both the first 2 pair decided by a thou each. Next
This
up
is going to be a
AJ
very good
Ash.
race.
Ash dial 453 in the dragster.
Don't be giving out any secrets. You're ahead of me. This
He's
is my
in the
pick.
left lane. Right side is Aaron Vale. Vale.
Ooh, this is a
in the
dogfight.
Firebird dialed 627. 3.5 bulbs head start. Going to Aaron Vale. Over a full tree. It'll be a large spot to the door car.
Pull the
Ash will have a
wheels.
big chase. AJ Ash advances to the round of 6. 33 and 13 thou above, 46 total. Vale 48 up front, no
46
chance.
total.
Ash had him locked out.
Not spectacular runs this round so far.
Yeah, but remember what I was saying, that you're going to be late. I turned off the lights. And I tried to do what I could to tell you that you're going to have to pull some. It's dark out there now, man. I know that ain't everybody, but this sure as heck is me.
87 is the dial. Right side, the lone remaining former $1 million winner, and he's done it twice. Skinny Kenny Underwood. Underwood dial 479.
Underwood got cracked.
7 dead 2.
He got cracked.
9 thou total.
9 thou.
So we will have a brand new winner then for the OG Million officially, because that's all of them.
Right.
He got 17 change as Staba laid him down a 9-pack.
9. Get a piece of this 9-pack right here. That's what Staba just said to him. Staba!
Left lane is Tucker Cancelar. 454 the dial for Tucker. Right.
Jed's mic is cutting out a little bit. It's okay.
The boo dialed 621.
Cancelar versus Dysinger. This is a dog. This is a dog fight. Dysinger missed the tree last hit, man. He's gonna have to be sharp right here.
At least you know he can trust his car.
Oh yeah, he's on that 621, but he's gonna be sharp. He trusts his foot. He's carrying. I promise you, he's got numbers in the pocket.
Can hold him off.
Dysinger missed, I think. Hold on. He missed.
Advances to the round of 6.
Car ran dead on though. Just like I said, that car is good, man. If he ever puts that for sale, need to buy.
30 dead 6.
36 total.
Ouch.
Cancelar cut that in half and
Well,
18 change.
These dragsters are putting these door cars on the trailer right now, Casey.
What,
we got one door car through right now?
Well, we got the fast door car pulling up right now.
Right.
And I don't consider Flippendale a door car, by the way. That's
true
a roadster.
that. So no door cars right now?
Right lane is
not
Cody McDaniel.
not yet.
McDaniel dialed 458. Door car in the left lane getting a small 3/10 head start.
This should be the last pair, I believe.
Tarleton sitting on the bye, trying to retain it at the round of 6.
Wow.
So we got one door car.
Oh, he got timed out? Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Somebody go cry all the way home or back to the staging lanes to plead his case.
Out of the lights.
Oh, my God.
Tarleton gets a stress-free ride into the round of 6.
So we got one door car in,
and
it's a fast door car.
Right.
Tough way to exit the program.
Tough way. Whoa.
Tarleton will carry the bye one more time, and if he can turn on a win light.
Oh yeah, carrying the bye.
Yeah, remember that's the drama behind this thing. This guy's, if he wins this next round, he's going to the final.
You know what this is, George? This is him having that happen in this fast door car and carrying this by. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like exactly what we were talking about, what happened with Stevie Dustin coming from 23rd all the way to winning the championship. It was the exact same amount of rounds that Stevie needed to do to get to the finals to win the championship at VMP Triple Threat, and he did it. So we know it's possible, and all that this guy has to do, Tarleton, all he has to do is win next round. He is guaranteed to show up in the final, which is a value if they don't change it, and I assume that they probably won't change it anymore. That means that basically him winning this next round, this is the value of it. If he loses next round, he gets $40,000. Oh no, what a terrible thing, right? Only 40 grand.
Right.
But think about it like this. If he wins next round, he is guaranteed $100,000 more because he is guaranteed to go to the finals.
Going to the finals.
Oh, I mean, that's nuts.
I'm waiting on track coverage. He ain't live yet, but I'm waiting on him. Make sure I got my notifications on. Guys, you see that like button? Let me make this big real quick. Let me make this big. Pretty sure all you probably have already done this, but you see that like button right here? My mouse is over the top of it. You know, if you just want to give that all a click, if you're on drag coverage or going bracket racing, give that a click right there. That'll give you everything you want. Notifications, all that good stuff. But I want to make sure I know when he goes live because he's giving us a pretty good look from the staging lanes. And I'm enjoying that. Casey, man, one door car. One. And as I mentioned before, Dysinger got away with one that last round.
Mm-hmm.
Lightning doesn't strike twice at the million. Okay?
No.
Not this late in the rounds. That was lightning right there. That was he had on his lucky draws. That's what that was. Or he had one sock on, one sock off the previous round.
Yep.
And it just couldn't get away with it. Hey, heck of a showing though for Dysinger, man. Guys showing up and winning everything.
Yeah, man. Like, kind of like I was saying earlier about the whole deal of terrible deal to lose right there, but him losing right there, he gets $20,000. I mean, it's
just 20 grand.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking that people who lost at that round of 24 are taking home more money than a lot of people who what used to be known as a big money race, that's what they're taking home for losing right there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
let's look at this chat real quick. He says, and we're kind of going back before the last round started here with a couple of these, but Wayne Duke says, the track was good last year in the cold weather. I think, Wayne, you're referring to the Guaranteed Million. I think. You can tell me if I'm wrong, Wayne, but I think you're referring to the Guaranteed Million where Brendan Mass of Mass Traction was behind the track where Larice was running 380s, like with your breath showing out. Yeah.
Yep.
That, that was. I think that was the Guaranteed Million. I think. So.
I'm not 100% certain on that, but
Right.
But when Brandy Mash shows up, things stay sticky. I can tell you that.
Jack Nolan, Aaron is gonna spray and drop, and I'm calling it. Man, he would have had to spray off the starting line because 30 ain't gonna cut it. Yep. But the guy has to be racing with something in his pocket. He has to, because he's dead on seemingly every single run, Casey. That leads me to believe that he can get back to dead on. Where am I taking those thought processes from? And that whole thought process of getting back to dead on? Well, that's Johnny Bracket Racer. He says it. I can get back to dead on just about any time I want to. And that's what I think that's what he's doing.
And you have to. That's what a lot of people forget about. That's number one rule about holding anything. But the thing that I wanted to mention about this whole deal of this particular round is not really any stellar runs. Like, honestly, none of these runs should have been a winner. It's just
nine total was pretty stellar.
Yeah, but that's only one.
Yeah, it was the only one.
I figured that would have been happening, every round at this point, but it doesn't seem like it is, and I wonder why. I wonder why that's the case, because when you have names like, especially AJ Ash and Jason Lynch. Now, needless to say, they did win that round, but I expect that to happen at this point in the OG Million. Whenever you're talking about who was there, like we had Underwood in, we had lots of people in that were big names,
Right. Man, all I know is AJ Ash is still alive. Catfish is still alive. And that is cause for worry for everybody left in the race, in my opinion. Cancellar looks pretty tough. I think that's who it is. Tucker Cancellar still in here. He looks pretty tough. And that old door car is going to be tough to take down, too. Because let's be honest, and let's talk about this for a quick second. You have the bye run going to the final. If you get across this next line, what do you have to lose but setting up 00 something low? That's all I got. I don't care if your effort puts you on the 00 SHIT show. You had better go out there and set 00 and shoot for the moon. That's all I got.
I agree, man. Now, it's funny that you said that your dad was calling you. Now my dad's texting me here, asking me who won the million. So what are we down to, 6?
6, yep. Jack Nolan, whatever happened to the SFG Million and the Great American Guaranteed Million? Is it only the OG Million that's still around currently? And there's a few caveats to go behind the OG Million. I will say that. You call it a million all you want to, but the first two that you named, I do believe those are the only 2 races that have paid out $1 million. Casey, you can correct me if I'm wrong. The OG is just, in my opinion, the most prestigious race on the planet, period, when it comes to bracket racing. So, Jack Nolan, at this point in time, I think the SFG Million is just going to be the $500,000 still, and Great American isn't having any millions at this point. We got that news directly on Going Bracket Racing from Galen and Britt himself, if I'm not mistaken myself, Casey.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, the fact of the matter is, with the OG Million, the reason why it is the way it is just like we were talking about on Tuesday's show. It is the longest running mega money bracket race in the country. Everybody wants to win it. Just look at the names that are on that list and who they are now. The names that are on that list, I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but I know Troy Williams is on there. Gary's on there multiple times. Kenny Underwood's on there multiple times. You saw him down right now. Like Dave Triplett, he's on there multiple times. He was just in it too. It's just the people who are on this list. Edmund Richardson, he's on there. It's just the people who are on this list are people that you just constantly associate with winning and not wanting them to be in the lane next to you. Johnny Bracker Racer, it's all those guys have won this race, and it's so elusive to a lot of people, including Scotty Richardson. I want to say Scotty Richardson has been to the most finals or semifinals or whatever in million history, and never can close the deal for various reasons. But he's won every other thing there is to win. You know what I mean? But he wants that so bad, and it always seems to just be out of his reach for various reasons. Things just don't fall his way, and I'd like to have Scotty on our show at some point to kind of tell us how he feels about that type of stuff. And he said it for years that's the race. That's the race. Well, why is it the race? Why is it the race whenever you're one of the best that's ever done this, if not the best that's ever done it? Why do you want that race? Because it's not the highest paying. He won Biondo's race, paid $375.
Right. Right.
And he won
Is that the highest fling that we've seen? $375? Because I know they haven't paid $1 million yet either. To jump off a Travacon, but you send the fling here. Definitely one heck of a series. Definitely one race that I would love. I repeat, love to attend with Casey Beckemeyer there, Troy Abercrombie there, everybody who follows Going Bracket Racing. Let's get our own half of parking in the mountain and just enjoy racing up in the mountain at Bristol. That is one of the racetracks I must go to, just based on the prestige of that track itself. But I don't think the fling's paid out $1 million either, guys. So.
Yeah, man. I kind of agree with Alan Boykin here, though. What about this thought process? Whenever we were talking about the whole deal of what are you going to do with this, with the door car, and carrying the buy and stuff like that. He says too much money is on the line to win. You don't want a red light because then you don't have a shot.
Yep, and I really don't think he's thinking like that. I would have to tell you, you better red light. As a matter of fact, red light in your mind but protected in your delay box is basically what I'm getting at. Set up your delay box to be -3 and go out there and hope to be +3. Because this is the difference between going to the finals or lose, or just saying you lost because you gave it a shot. I don't think there's anything to lose at this point. Casey, we talk about this all the time. What would we do if we're in the situation to where $60,000 is what I'm taking home if I lose? Hey, man, see you later. See you. I lost. It's all good. I'm going to smile at you.
Yeah.
But
fact,
I ain't going to lose being 30. I'm going to tell you, I'll flinch before I go 30, in my opinion. I'm going to just try to flinch at it then, if that's the case.
The fact of the matter is, the only way you can run a race like this with this much pressure and these people next to you is run it exactly like they do, which is just go racing. Who cares? Like at this point, a guy like me, for example, this particular round, we're talking about this door car because he's the one with the most stress on him, in my opinion, till whatever happens next round. Right?
Right.
In my opinion, he just needs to go out and race, because if he loses right now, yes, that sucks, because if you would have won that one more round, it would have given you $100,000. That's a ton of money. I mean, that's pay off your house money. You know what I mean? But $40,000 also pays a big chunk of my house off. You know what I mean? So I think that at the end of the day, it would be different, I guess. You would have a different thought process if this is how you pay your bills, but this is supplementary money for most people.
True.
True.
I see Jim Davis chiming in on the Facebook chat here. Why change what's been working for you? He's talking about that door car. Well, I don't remember what his reaction time was last hit, but I'd have to guess it wasn't stellar because the other car went timeout. So he didn't really get a good hit at the last hit, if I have to be honest. There's no way he did. But why change it? Why change it is because I have a buy run into the final, and I'm at the $1 million. So this is why I'm setting up -3, -1. If I hit the -3, -1, well, I tried. But give me my 2 or 3 thou margin of miss window, and I'm 00, low 00. That puts me into the final. of the $1 million, of the most prestigious race in the country. I'm going for it. That's why I changed what I'm doing here. Anthony Evans comes in. I think this race lined up for the best bang for your fuel. 320s the weekend before. Yep. You're following us. 20K Tuesday. The surrounding 50Ks. That's a fact. This is something that I think is going to be more frequent next year, Anthony Evans. And I'm pretty sure you're going to see a lot more racers start to follow this type of a format. What races around the big race? My bad, Casey, for cutting you off.
No, it's all good. I totally agree with that. Kind of like we were saying in the beginning of this stream, they get all the way there. Everybody comes from everywhere. You don't know how far everybody towed from, but I know even for me, it's in Alabama. I looked earlier. It's 562 miles one way from my house in Montgomery.
About 8 hours.
So yeah, 8.5, something like that. So to be able to go there, if you say you had 2 weeks vacation, it's the end of the year. If you could burn it now safely and not really worry too much. It's not like it's August or April, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you're at the end of the year, you could probably tough it out now. We're basically at Halloween. You only got to get through 2 more months and then you get all your vacation again,
Right.
So
right.
The fact is that if you still have 2 weeks left, you could take your 2 weeks off, go down there and go racing. And man, I mean, I want to say you probably could have raced in these last 2 weeks at Montgomery, at least 10 times, and that's not even doubled.
Right.
If you're doubled, I mean, you can legitimately race in those 2 weeks of these last 2 weeks at Montgomery. You could have raced almost as much as a lot of people will race all year if you go down there and double enter everything.
Right.
Now it takes a lot of money, but
yep, a lot of money I ain't got. I can tell you that. But
right,
I think that's true though, Anthony Evans. The way this is lined up, it's definitely very, very well thought out for the people who are not necessarily the ones holding the $1 million to say let's hold some 20s right before the $1 million. So, and like I said, Super Bowl of bracket racing was right before Fall Spring Bristol, and I guarantee you that had something to do with how that one all shaped up too.
Well, they had the Spring Fling was in Columbus the week before the SFG deal too, so it was Spring Fling, SFG, and then Spring Fling again.
Yep. So,
but what's cool about this whole thing really is after last round ended, we're going to have a brand new name on the list. There's not going to be like a 3-time winner or a double winner or whatever. It's going to be a new, fresh name on the list. So that's something that I think is kind of cool.
Very cool, as a matter of fact. I got one more comment here from Jack Nolan talking about the Spring Fling being out in Vegas. I don't necessarily think the Spring Fling will ever pay $1 million either, because if it had, it would have happened this past year. How many?
They had 5-7. Well, that wasn't. Was that the $1 million? I thought the $1 million is the Bristol one. I think they had the $1 million out there the year prior. When
Spring Fling might not be $1 million race. I think you're right about that. I have to do some more research to double check that, but I think you're right, Casey. I think the actual Spring Fling $1 million is in a different location than Vegas.
It was in Vegas the year Peeps won it, but I don't think that it was that this year because, like you said, it would have paid it because they had 575 entries.
That's right.
This was the year where Pollard ended up getting hit by a truck in Love Truck, which is why I didn't out here right now.
Well, Troy Abercrombie agrees. Spring is the $1 million in Vegas, so I'm guessing that is $1 million race. Maybe there was just 500 something entries in the races surrounding the $1 million, and it never got because that happens too, right? You get your entries. I think here at this race there was 600 and something entries in the 100K. So I mean, which we still get the luxury of watching tomorrow. Like this is all fun and all the $1 million. This is the big go. But I think I'm gonna coin Will Holloman. I think Will Holloman said it at the guaranteed $1 million, where he said I try to stay even kill because there's still $100 grand to race for the next day. And I called BS because I don't know if I'll be able to hold my stuff together if I'm about to race for 60 G's or $1 million or $300,000, So, and he was racing for a cool $1 million at that point. So, there you have it.
But he's another one of those guys that pays a lot of bills racing, So,
well, pays all the bills racing as far as I know. I think he's a racer for a living. So, He paid
Well,
them all.
whenever you win races, I guess you can do that.
True statement.
Especially when you back-to-back them.
True statement. Nothing new coming out of drag coverage. We might not get too many more behind the scenes look. I bet you he's waiting for it to get down to the finals, and we'll bring that back to you. But yeah, Casey, man, I can't say enough about what's really going on here at this race. This is if there's a race on the bucket list for a bracket racer, this could very well be one of them. But like we mentioned before, being able to cough up $2,000 for a lot of these guys, 4 who I know that doubled it. May not be in the cards for me. Maybe I'll go and race in some of the warm up races.
Yeah, I mean that's what's really cool about the OG Million, in my opinion, is they have, and it didn't work out that way this year just simply because of the number of entries they have. But they start racing on Tuesday with the Race to the Million, where basically everybody gets an entry to the million, semis and up, and then they add money to it as well. But the cool part about it is you race Tuesday, you race Wednesday, you race Thursday, whenever it's a normal week. And then the million is on Friday. So you have the opportunity to run 3 races before then and then be able to, potentially win some money and get in. And this is a question I have for you, George. Being that the first 50K was a no split deal, do you think that even could have possibly affected the million entry count because all that money was kind of hoarded at the top because people didn't want to split? If that was pushed back more, maybe we would have hit 500 on these entries. It's not going to be a lot, but it might have been 4 or 5.
I think that the first couple of races, and we can talk about this maybe even next Tuesday when we decompress a little bit more, because I don't want to give out a few of my thoughts around how this race actually went down. There had to be a mastermind behind it. There had to be some decisions made off the cuff, and that affected this race just a little bit. I won't say a lot. Obviously, I won't say a lot because we still see 496 entries into the million and 640-something entries into the 100Ks, right? But there are a few things that could have maybe deterred the car count from being 500. It still was going to take 626 cars to get to a cool million. So, I mean, I don't think that there's going to be. I think it could have affected maybe 10 or 20 entries, and you would think that's small. That's not very small. That's 20 entries at 2,000 a pop. So that's still a nice little piece of change. So maybe it had a little effect, but I don't think it was over and above. It wasn't like astronomical.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's true. Like I said, it might only have added a few, but whenever you're talking about a graduated type entry fee deal, I do have that on my computer because we were using it last Tuesday on our live show.
Sure.
If it would have got to 500, it would have had to get to 501 to pay 690. But man, we were so close to getting $50,000 more in this pot, which that would be $50,000 more to spread back
Chop it
for
up
everything.
all the way back. Yep, exactly.
Right.
I was getting ready to say, Barnes says there's still $100K to pay out tomorrow. You're right. We just got done talking about that. So this is great. This is awesome. This is a great way to spend a Saturday, and tomorrow's going to be even more fun because we get to do it all over again for $100,000. It's not like that's a little amount of money, by any means.
No,
it's $100,000.
Exactly.
Jeez.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what's crazy is the million is so big and it's such a big deal and it's got so much lure around it and everything that tomorrow, like you said, we're still racing for $100,000 tomorrow. We're racing for more money almost every single race this weekend than an NHRA top fuel dragster team is going to win at any NHRA national event. You see them on TV and all this stuff. And this is the reason why we've created Going Bracket Racing, to put the word out there every single Tuesday at 5 o'clock. That's why you need to hit the like and follows on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube and all that stuff, and find us on podcast or whatever.
If you had $100,000,
because look at
would you be nervous or
Motormania
not?
right now. I'm looking. There's 3,700 people watching the OG Million right now. You can't tell me there's no value in that.
I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
Like Nick
and this
Folks
is free. And everybody likes free. You don't have to pay for Fox Sports or any of that crap or cable or any of that. You just turn on YouTube, everybody's got the internet. You can turn it on anywhere from your phone and watch bracket racing 3 or 4 days every single week, for hours. Like, this has been going on for 10 hours already today.
Right. And let's not sleep on the fact that some of us need a good way to get through work as well. I'm a very good multitasker. Even if I'm just listening in my ears and not actually watching on a screen, it helps me stay in a zone work-wise to be able to do some calculations on math. But I did get us back into the drag coverage from the pits, and he's walking through asking what will we do with $100,000. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't even know if I ever smelled 100,000 at the same time. I mean, I've come across it in my lifetime, but can I say I've ever seen 100 grand? No, I haven't.
I've owed several hundred grand.
Right. Oh man.
AJ can win in Stalba. Race, anybody can win, but.
Oh man, I minimized it. I'm sorry, guys. I'll bring it back up here in a second, but I'm gonna leave this up here, and guess what?
Get it done, Tucker can. So.
I'm going to take a quick stroll to the restroom and see you guys here in a minute.
No,
get it right
it's
back
none of your business.
All right, now we're watching softball, so whatever happened there, get that out of here. All right.
Is AJ Planner?
Not really in position to tell you what they got, what they didn't get. So.
Thanks for the update, Sean.
Be right back, Casey.
I agree, Mike. Flip a dial is the only way to go. I disagree, Mike. Flip a dial is good, but K&R Performance, that's a sponsor plug, my sponsor. I'm parked next to Kevin Rodden all weekend. The K&R stuff is really, really good.
Kind of become like Christmas for them. I love it. Look forward to it.
Angie, you're welcome. Tucker Chancellor has some fans here. Let's go say hi to Tuck. She's got all these fans.
Excited for the million every year.
So it's Tucker versus Jason. It's gonna be a good one here. Yeah. Good luck, Catfish.
Woke up yesterday morning excited.
Yes, sir. Get it done.
I don't think the enthusiasm has faded.
It's like they're getting in cars and starting to suit it back up, so I'll get us moving back towards the mainstream here. Don't want to miss anything. Casey might have took a restroom break as well. I think he'll be back here in a minute.
AJ Ash versus Race Tarleton. If Race wins this round, he gets 140. If he loses, he gets 40. $100,000 lap for Race. So AJ Ash versus Race. Stalber versus Gibson. And Lynch versus
You ain't getting nowhere near a split at Tucson. Wow.
Now that's a race right there. Well, no, man. The craziest thing about this whole deal is that so
if Tucker won the million, he would never make a
harder
post.
opponent
That's just how Tucker
to keep this buy run.
Right.
I mean, dude, you're telling me this run for him is worth $100,000, and they have to put him up against the best guy in the whole group, probably, AJ Ash.
Right. So, hey, we already know that this is going to be a heck of a round. We already know that you got AJ Ash, you got Catfish, you got Tucker, you got a lot of bigger names into this race. I'm sorry, I don't know who's driving the door car. This is one of the first times that I've ever heard this name. So I don't want to call the guy no name, because if he was, he sure as heck ain't no name no more.
Right, exactly. And you know how I like the fast door cars, and if I don't know, man, I want the fast door car to win. I just do. I think it's cool. I think the fast door cars, everybody likes them, just like everybody likes wheelie cars, you know.
Sure.
But I also know that I really think if AJ wins this round, I think he's probably going to the end. I don't know how the ladder stacks up, but it could be Lynch and AJ run next round, and then well, if Tarleton wins, he gets to bye.
Right.
So
going to get very, very interesting here in a few moments. Shocking that we don't see cars going down the track yet, especially considering that there's nothing to cut up right now. I don't.
Here they come around the corner.
I guess I spoke too soon, didn't I? Goes a little noise. You got a little music to come in behind it. Keep those chats coming. Jim Davis says, so this round's lights will be back in the double O's to mid-teens again. I believe you're right, sir, because it better be. Let's put it that way. $140,000 on the line, and you can't go double O? That's nerves if it isn't, Jim Davis. And we got the race cut back in, and here we go. We're going to get some noise coming down here.
So here we go. Quarter final round of the million.
It's warm now.
Heard that.
Left-hand side, Tucker Cancelar. Cancelar out 455. Will take on Jason Lynch. Lynch, a former $1 million finalist, was runner-up to Johnny Ezel in 2017.
Ooh, I forgot about that, Casey.
Turn on one.
Lynch runner-up to Ezel.
Put his name on a list he's been trying to get after for a long time. He's out 441. Cancelar, very, very tough racer out of the Midwest. Just makes solid laps. He has made a lot of solid ones thus far. Trying to make 3 more. Put his name on $1 million check.
Don't forget you're ahead of us, Casey.
It's tougher than you think, because I get excited.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
Red, Cancelar 12 and 29 thou under. Tucker Cancelar to the semifinals.
All right. Jim Davis, so far so good. Teens to double O. So far so good.
Left-hand side, Tom Staubach.
Here's the Roadster.
Staubach out 4.
He got thrown.
So take on
He got thrown on a
Yep.
different lane.
The Flip-A-Dial Roadster out 5 flat. Staubach out of New Jersey. Gibson out of Texas.
I was gonna say I know this. I know I've seen this guy. This guy's out of Texas. Go Team Texas. Man, I ought to change my pick, but I can't do that. Sorry, buddy. Good luck though. Good luck. I knew I'd seen this car out at Ardmore a few times.
I saw that car actually at Galat the other day, believe it or not.
Jeez. You remember that old Flip-A-Dial, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Heck, his opponent's got a Flip-A-Dial on the back of his car.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
So we're running low on door cars now.
3,000 red, dead one. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
This is the round, though. This is the round right here. The run, I guess I should say.
Will end his million hopes.
3,000 red, dead one.
And it's a big one.
I guarantee you, somebody's at the top end of the track with a cold beer for that old boy. 3,000 red, dead one.
He wins this round. He will have the bye to the final. He'll take on AJ Ash.
And an additional $140,000.
Oh, golly, he's got Ash, though. This is not good.
Yep.
This is not good. Oh, come on.
Mullis Hot Rod.
I know I said Ash, but I want to see the door car win. Just saying.
He's got to win here and be better than 0-12 to get that bye.
If he wins this round, he's going to win the whole race. This is the most nervous he's going to be.
Now they're saying that he's got to be better than 12 to get the bye.
Will be on the bye.
Maybe AJ. Doesn't look very good.
This one win light.
Got it.
Race Tarleton.
Wow.
7 did.
That's
Seven.
awesome, man.
Race
Going to the
11
final.
Total.
Yep.
AJ.
Going
That-
to the final.
Lays down 11 total. It lays down 11 total in the highest
To the final.
stress level. That was worth $100,000.
100 grand right there. Lays down. What? Hey, what I tell you? Set up red.
Yep.
You gotta be double O here, and the dude, he was listening. I'm telling you, he was watching going bracket racing in between rounds.
I would not be surprised if he wins this race because I don't think the final is going to be more stressful than what that round was right there.
No question about it, and you know my phone's ringing. My dad wants.
Yeah, mine is too.
My dad wants to talk about it. I lost my pick. Looked like we all lost our picks, didn't we?
I don't care though. I'm so happy for that guy. I don't even know who he is.
Right. To be, dog, that low package like that for a bye to the final, you had to be better than 12, and I guarantee you he didn't know that either.
Right.
You see that, Dad? Hold on, I'm talking to you. Hold on. Let's listen in, Casey. Go ahead, Pops.
Well, I didn't. You say he had to be lower than 12? No, that old boy carries the bye to the final in the door car.
Nah, they tried to take it from him, if I'm not mistaken myself, and we can break this down. Remember, Casey, we've talked about this a few times to where does the bye run actually carry, or are they going to erase it if somebody else has the bye?
It's been carrying for 2-3 rounds.
Right, but
Yeah.
I heard on the microphone that he had to be better than 12, otherwise it was going to Tucker Cancelar.
That was AJ.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was AJ.
that's-
Okay. Look, I was wrong.
Take it from the other guy.
I was wrong.
The
Yep.
guy that ran automatically had the bye run because he's carrying it.
He been carrying it. That's right.
AJ would have had to beat him.
That's right.
Yeah.
He ain't getting around 9. Was he 9 or 7? Doggone.
He was. I think it was 11. He was 11.
Was it 11 total?
11 total, yeah.
Yep.
So he was dead 4. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
He said he had to do that against AJ though.
He had to. I wouldn't be shocked if he was set up 001, 002 red right there. I'm not even joking. Because he had to do it. So,
Yeah.
yep. Nah, we still alive though, Dad.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, pressure, Anthony Hurst. Pressure. That's exactly what that was. And talk about ice in the veins to come out there and lay 11 total like that. Wayne Duke, big thumbs up. You got it, buddy.
Dude, that, like I said, I don't think that. I think that would have been the most stressful round, even more so than whenever he rolls up here at the finals. I just don't think that you can get any more stress than that because the difference is like now, this is what's crazy, is that round right there was worth $100,000 to that guy, right?
Right.
When he goes to the final now, not only is he guaranteed $140,000 if they don't split it even further, which they probably will,
Right.
but if they don't, then that's only a $75,000 difference.
Right.
Still a ton of money, but not like 40 to 140 because $40,000 will buy you a new truck. $140,000 will buy you a big chunk of a house, you know?
Right.
That's
Right.
the difference.
Right. And Alan Boynton did tell us the packages was gonna tighten up, and they sure did. Big Daddy knows what he's talking about. Hey, man.
That's right.
Shoot. Dylan Champion, man, nobody's won yet. You kind of right on time. We ain't got to the winner yet, but you did miss quite a bit of drama on the ride up here. Got Kevin Grider catching up on the way home from XRP. Hopefully you had a good showing out there in that old 7-0 index. And got to turn on a few win lights. Definitely missing a heck of a race, but that's okay. I think I would rather be racing too somewhere, to be honest. But yeah. Pressure. No, man, but that was worth the price of admission right there. That right there alone.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, man. It's like the OG Million never fails to never disappoints, I guess I should say. It never fails to impress you. It always, some way, shape, or form, be it anything you can possibly imagine. It goes on at the Million seemingly. There's always some sort of publicity going along with the Million that people talk about for the entire following year. And it's, this is going to be something that's going to go down, in the history books of, remember that guy that was carrying the bye all those rounds in the fast door car. And the fact that it was in a fast door car too, I think is going to actually help it stay in people's memories. It's not just another dragster, especially whenever the fast door car is running through these people. And he didn't get that handed to him. There wasn't a red light situation on AJ's part. That was a winning run that he threw down.
Man, and I'll tell you what, that round right there would have run the finals of the million in my opinion. There's nothing going to stop that. If he repeats that or anywhere near that, congratulations on the win for another door car. In the only door car seemingly the last couple rounds. So
I don't know if a fast door car has ever won the million.
Hold on. I don't think so either.
But yeah, man, so as far as the back half of the season goes, we've kind of seen like just a major car counts for the last half of the season. It doesn't matter what state it's in, doesn't matter whose event it is. Like they're just 300 and up everywhere you go, right. 400, 500, 600. Like, I mean, sometimes you're wondering like, how are there even this many cars around, like doing this type of stuff? Well, bracket racing definitely isn't dying. What do you think the reasoning is for that? Because fuel prices are high, groceries are getting higher every single day, housing prices are going up. So what's the deal? Is it shows like this and like Motor Mania and stuff that are bringing people back out, being like, oh man, I can win more money bracket racing than I can running professional?
Well, it's definitely Motor Mania and shows like this and social media as a whole. Okay. One thing that used to be a problem, as I can remember growing up, was the ability to get the word around. If you didn't know St. Louis had Super Megabucks, you lived under a rock because everybody talked about Super Megabucks. Everyone who's big name racing right now seemingly raced at Super Megabucks, right? So nowadays you don't really have to worry about being able to spread the word around. You have going bracket racing. Hey, I'll broadcast your race as many times as you would like. I'll break it down. We'll talk about it in details. We can talk about buybacks. We can talk about progressive buyback systems. We could talk about a 64-car field if 700 entries show up. We could talk about all of that. And then pre-generate all the information that everybody's going to get when they get there in the first place, right? So I think that's definitely spot on, Casey, that shows like this in Motor Mania TV and being able to watch these people race, that's what is happening. And that's why everybody's coming back to, either coming back or coming out of retirement to come back to the sport.
Right. Do you think that next year we're going to start seeing more door cars out again? Because it seems like there are more and more and more door cars showing up. Because whenever I was younger, whenever I was first starting out racing big cars out of junior dragsters, everybody was making the switch to dragsters. And it seems like in the last 5 years or so, it seems like now that they're splitting door cars and dragsters, a lot of people are starting to go back towards the door cars now. I mean, it's like we were saying earlier, a dragster, number one, bottom line means you have to have a bigger trailer to fit the dragster in, period. Secondarily, you need to have a bigger garage to fit it in.
Yep, that's exactly where I was going to go. Let's just say George owned 10 acres of land, a shop, and had the ability to house a dragster. Yes, I would probably one day like to own a dragster. I've never driven one, like I said. I'm not opposed to driving dragsters. My dad builds them, for crying out loud. So I would love to have a George Atchison race car, 4-link dragster chassis sitting in my garage, right? Economically, I live in a subdivision. I have an HOA. I have a 2-car garage, and my driveway is literally 16 feet long. So where am I going to put a dragster? That is what is going to contribute to people going into more door cars. It's only going to be that too, because let's be honest, if you get on drag race results classified right now, if you get on any of the websites, you're going to find dragsters pretty doggone cheap, turnkey. And the reason why you didn't buy it is because you'll find that door car turnkey like that too. You won't find no S-Dime cheap. you won't find a Chevy too cheap. Some of the most popular cars, the Vega wagons, those type of cars, you're not gonna find those cheaps right now. So, basically, what I'm getting at is, I think you're gonna see more door cars. I do, because as we always say here at Going Bracket Racing, you don't have to reinvent the wheel to be able to go bracket racing. You can get you an open trailer, a door car, and a nice old gas truck, and you can make it to the racetrack. There you have it.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is that whenever you do have a door car, like for example, a car like a back half door car, you can run top bulb, you can run big money racing, you can run foot brake, you can run big money foot brake stuff. You can do like Kevin Grider. I know he does a lot of, like, every once in a while he'll do no prep stuff. You can do index racing. Like, those door cars fit in so many more categories. It's just, realistically, if you had a chassis car, like pro stock style door car, at that point you could run top sportsman, you could run super pro, you could run pro, you could run super gas. Like, you could run, I think you can run them in super street if you slow them down enough. But you can run so much. You could run outlaw pro mod. You can do all this stuff with a door car. Whereas a dragster, the only thing you can do with a dragster is you can bracket race, run top ET, you can run super comp, you can run top dragster. That's it. There are no more classes.
Well, I have seen a few dragsters running on the no electronics side here lately. Kendall Little runs no electronics in a dragster that's owned by, I do believe, David Burr Jones. So it's doable, but I've only ever seen one.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of places frown upon that.
True. True.
So, if the rules allow it, then more power to them. But
right.
But 99% of places don't allow dragsters in their foot brake categories.
Right.
Just because realistically, a dragster is a purpose-built, go dead on type deal. That is what it is. When we've talked about this, to the end of days on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel on our Tuesday shows at 5, we talk about this all the time. But at the end of the day, if you have a headwind, it's 10 mile an hour and it's blowing on your door car and it's blowing on your dragster, the dragster is not going to be affected like the door car is.
Very true.
And in a foot brake category, 99% of what you're running against is going to be 6 flat and slower back half door cars. And, an old hardtail dragster that goes 550s will outperform and be way more consistent than those cars on average 90% of the time.
I think you're right. I think Anthony Hirsch is right too. He says people still want to have fun, have a good time. Times are tough, fuel is high, but the thrill of competition and also knowing you have a chance is why bracket racing is awesome. And that's a fact. Another reason that I'm going to just piggyback off of your comment, Anthony, that bracket racing is essential to my well-being. I get, when I leave home and my family's with me and we're at a racetrack, everything else doesn't matter. It's home away from home. You get your buddies at the racetrack. You get your race car. You get your smells. You get your racetrack food at the concession stands, whatever you want to call it. So it's just those things that are. That's what's near and dear to me. I hate turning on the TV and having to hear about this, that, and the third that I don't even want to hear about. You know what I mean? So that's what another reason. People don't want to just be all Debbie Downer all the time. Get into bracket racing. I promise you, you might lose, and it might be 5 minutes. You might be down and out, but you get the smell of fuel, and next thing you know, you popped open that cooler. You'll be all right. It doesn't matter, But you got to compete. You got to have fun with your buddies. It's family friendly. That's bracket racing. That's where you and I met, Casey, for crying out loud.
Exactly, man. And still to this day, I've lived in a whole lot of places, and I've been pretty much everywhere there is to be just because of work in the United States. And after it's all said and done, really the main friends that I still talk to this day are my racing buddies. And I don't even live by them, Like, I talk to my buddies in Illinois. Well, you know how it is. We came from the same area originally.
Right.
But I talk to my buddies in Illinois, 2-3 times, as far as texting, 2-3 times, per day or whatever, and haven't lived near them for, at this point, maybe 15 years almost.
Right. As my Wild Bunch is showing up into my room now, so hopefully I can keep them quiet. But they're in here, and we're talking about drag racing. They know quite a bit about the sport already. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is off the cuff, but I had a dream about the little one driving Junior the other day, so it's like I guess that's gonna be right around the corner too. So, what's weird though, Casey, the dream was a top sportsman looking junior car. So that's
that's a good choice.
Good
you know
choice.
You know what I just realized, because I haven't heard him announce this guy's name. So, fast door car guy. You know what his name is?
I've heard it a couple times. Race Tarleton,
Race.
right? Yeah. I've heard it a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah. So my interruptions are getting ready to get a little bit larger, but we'll be okay here the next few minutes.
Yep. Old Big Daddy's over here saying, he said, you got to remember, he says, Chris, we call him Master Blaster. I'm not really sure why. That's just what Big Daddy calls him. He hauls his dragster in a 20-foot enclosed trailer. And I mean, I know he does, Big Daddy, but that thing is wedged in there tight.
Right.
He doesn't even need to strap it down. It isn't going to go anywhere.
And I've got Mike Nelson on my end saying you don't have to have a garage to own a dragster. We have them with no garage and still do great. Yeah, living in an HOA, I don't necessarily have the ability to have a 24-foot enclosed trailer. And if I had that enclosed trailer, I could see where you're coming from. As long as, of course, me being in Texas, I don't really have to worry about the real deep freezes like others. But I'm still going to have somewhere to store that race car in the wintertime. I don't want it sitting in an enclosed trailer that's not climate controlled, freezing up. You know what I mean?
Well, the number one thing is if you're going to leave your race car in your trailer, you better call Larice Motorsports Insurance. That's for sure, because I've heard too many horror stories about that, man, and it freaks me out.
Yeah.
That's just always freaked me out as far as leaving cars in the trailer. I think that if somebody's going to have their, if you have to have your race car in a trailer, then it definitely needs to be insured, especially since it exists nowadays. And they have pretty reasonable pricing considering the substantial loss you would have if somebody did get your car in your trailer, because your trailer's insured, but what's inside it isn't.
Right. Don O'Neill's in the chat. Door car is winning tonight.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you're right. I do. I did at first have AJ Ash winning it, and the door car took care of that for me. So there you have it. But yeah, door car to the top would be nice to watch. Very, very much so.
Well, we know for sure that it's at least going to run it up.
Right.
And realistically, if you would have told me earlier in this week that a fast door car was going to be this deep in this race, I would have told you were crazy, because I thought there would be no way, with it being cold out there, with having mild track issues and things like that. I just never would have thought that it would have been possible that a door car could be as consistent as this door car has seemingly been too.
Sure. So hopefully we'll get them back in the rounds here in a little bit as my kids are waving at you all.
What's up, guys?
Getting a little antsy, but all right, cars in the lanes. Yeah, let me see if I can get back into drag coverages if he goes live from the lanes again. That's been pretty neat, to say the least. And if you don't follow drag coverage, you got to get on that, guys. It's a very good Facebook page here he's got going on. And media, I'm pretty sure he's got a web page and all the other good stuff too. But
oh yeah, TJ's got a little everything.
Yeah, and not to mention a very nice looking top sportsman, isn't it?
I don't know what exactly.
Is he grudging that car? Is he grudging it? What's he doing? No prepping?
He's. I don't know if I'm necessarily allowed to say exactly what he's got going on with all that, but I know he had a grudge race locked in the other day. So I think TJ's a grudge racer now.
Gleghorn's chiming in over here. He says he just hyped us up, but it was during the Motor Mania commercial.
Oh man,
doggone it.
That's all right. We appreciate it.
Hey, we appreciate it, man. Hey, you're doing a heck of a job out there. If you're still listening too, man. Everybody out there, from going bracket racing to the $1 million bracket race, OG million, whatever you want to call it. This has been one heck of a race. Good job out there.
Definitely, man. And I know that it's great that Ryan's involved with all this stuff with the $1 million too, because I know obviously on our show we were talking about that whenever Ryan was on our show. Maybe we'll have him back on this winter if he has time to be on here with us. We'd love to have him back, but he keeps all these statistics. He's kind of, in my opinion, I mean, nobody can really be what Brett Kepner is just because Brett Kepner's dedicated his entire life to drag racing. But Ryan might be that guy for bracket racing statistics because he knows he said he had, I think he said he had in his notes section of his cell phone, he's just got pages and pages and pages of notes of just bracket racing statistics. And that stuff's interesting, man. And bracket racing is getting to the point where now we're more in the forefront. We were always in the back for forever since bracket racing existed, and now we're more so in the forefront with the mega money races and with being on Motor Mania and just being everywhere. That data is going to need to be known because we need to keep statistics. We need to know who the best is. We talk about it all the time. Well, maybe Ryan one day will figure out who in fact was the best.
Right. And one thing that I can say here for a fact is Anthony Hurst has a great question here. Will Dorcar make by run pass wide open? Casey, what's your thoughts on that, man? I know I've got a thought process behind it. If this were a dragster, and I'll just go first since I'm on the subject, but if this was a dragster, I would say he would likely make the pass. Since it is not a dragster, it's a little harder to cool a Dorcar than it is to cool a dragster. Do you think that plays a factor in his ability to make a full pass here, or does he just send it?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think he's good to go right now. And if I was him, I'd probably just take the tree and go back because that pass is going to be irrelevant realistically because they're going to come back. There's going to be no heat in the track realistically. It's just going to be dissipating. The most they're going to have is whatever this tractor's doing, dragging stuff. So I think what you do is if you're going to have to break your planetaries, because that fast door car is going to be hard on planetaries, if you have to risk breaking planetaries, you don't risk it in the buy run to the finals of this race for this type of money. You might never be here again. Just take the tree, cruise down the track, or back up and go back to the trailer and make sure the fuel cap's on, make sure the battery's charged, and just wait until the time comes because that's my opinion, so we'll see. That's what I would do.
Right. I think I'm with you 100% here. I see something about he is in an interview with him on DC. I don't have him live on drag coverage at this point, Anthony Evans, but maybe there's something that I'm missing. We haven't missed him yet, but could be missing him right now. But I like your thought process, Casey, behind take the beam and back on out. There is no point in messing anything up at this point. Go ahead and back out the beam. Go ahead and put it back in the lanes if you want to. I've been seeing him sit there and charge in the lanes, so I bet you he has a pit away from the pit inside of those lanes right now, that's a very smart thing to be doing in the first place, right? So, I'd like to see the door car back the beams. I don't want to see a full pull here just for the sake of the what if. I don't generally move by what if, but in this case, and for that much money on the line, I'm going by the what if factor.
Right. I mean, if it was a a normal local race, I mean, I'd be taking it. I'd at least run it to half track or whatever. But the fact of the matter is just with this type of money on the line and whatnot, I mean, it's not worth risking the equipment because if I'm going to blow my stuff up, I'm going to blow it up in the final, and maybe my guy next to me does something stupid in red lights, or something,
Yep. Can't agree more. I'm not doing anything crazy here.
I'll never ever forget this, George, at Megabucks at Gateway whenever I was a little kid. Remember whenever Ken Jones was running Jerry Timmerman's dragster with the little bitty airplane front wheels on it, the Mopar motor?
Yep.
The year he won Megabucks out there back then was we were putting bags of ice on his transmission in the lanes and all this crap. Well, one year he let go and it died, I want to say. I was up in the stands. Like I said, I'm a little kid. This is like probably 20, 25 years ago maybe. I'm up in the stands. He lets go of the button, and obviously he's in a dragster. He's running a door car. This would have been a long time ago. There weren't a lot of dragsters around. He lets go. The car dies, and the guy goes down there and breaks out.
Oh.
And that's what I'm saying, though, man, is like stuff like that happens. I've seen it happen a million times, and it's just – and I've been one of the guys that has done a dumb thing like that. Anybody who says they haven't done something stupid, we've all done it, and it's embarrassing, but it happens. You never know what could happen.
Right. I'm getting the inside information from Anthony Evans. Looks like TJ's taking footage for his YouTube channel, so we're not going to get a live one here. So I'm gonna make the Motor Mania stream bigger and actually get some sound going so we can hear at the same time. I don't really want to hear music, but you know how that goes. Casey, as we have continued with this live from the 8th Mile event, I will throw it out there that this past year I had the chance and could not get it done at Gateway to do this in person. To do this stream in person would be very, very entertaining, to say the least. To be able to interact with what could possibly be at the 8th Mile right now.
Right.
I guarantee you, if there's bleachers or anything at the 8th Mile on Capital City Motorsports property, that place is packed right now for this race. That is what we're going to end up doing eventually. Have to have me a good internet connection, but one day this will not be live from the virtual 8th Mile. It will be live from the 8th Mile, at the event, from the event, during the event, all of the above. That's what I'm shooting for here. Casey, what do you think?
It'd be cool, man. It'd be cool to be able to interact with everybody that's down there and get a, actually be in the middle of all the excitement of what's going on. I mean, realistically, I hope that you're doing it by yourself, and I hope I'm the guy that's getting the bye to the final right now,
Hey,
I'll kick you some back. I'll help you out.
I'll tell you what, man, if that's the case, then so be it, but I hope it's me on the other end of it. As long as it's one of us, I kind of don't care. And then at the same time, if it's both of us, I guess I'm just going to have to hire somebody. We'll just leave the stream live and tell them to sit down, keep the cuss words to a minimum, and have fun. You don't have to change anything. I've left it set up for you. So it's pretty neat. So here we go. Some more. They're doing interviews. I don't know where the interviews are. I see some of that. Stidham, where are the interviews at, man? I can see Stidham saying they're doing interviews here. But got Jim Davis. So you're saying you will be out early? I just made a contingency plan for if I'm not out early. I have at least a thought process behind it. I hear some cars getting ready to get fired up here, so I don't know who's getting interviewed at this point.
Well, and these two dragsters that are coming up here right now, they're looking at a difference if they haven't split anymore, which I bet they don't now, because now it's set because that old boy's got the bye, So if nothing changed, then between these two dragsters, they're looking at a difference of one's getting 60, whoever loses, and the other one's going to get at least guaranteed 140.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's a big chunk.
One thing that I didn't take a look at here, George Hoff is saying, is that it's an older guy. He will make a full pull. He bets it. Interesting thought process. Very interesting. Sure.
Might be true.
Well, I feel like we're in the Motor Mania age. A lot of people watch. I've seen a lot of door cars just bag the beams at this moment. And even at the Guaranteed Million, I watched Champ McQuarrie bag the beams whenever he was the bye run to the final. So I just feel like that the wise thing here would be to bag the beams. That's what I think.
Well, a lot of the things I also noticed, to George Hoff's point, and it'd be interesting to get his opinion on this. Notice this is like a 95 Camaro, something like that.
Right.
A lot of the guys, if this is an older guy, there's a very good possibility he may have built that car himself. But my point is that on his comment of the older guy's going to make the run and stuff, I kind of agree with him on that. However, I would also say that typically if it's an older guy in an older door car, that guy might be building his own motors and his own transmissions, and he might be knowing what's going on with the transmission.
Right. I hear some burnouts. Let's check them out. Who we got winning this round?
Man,
I'm going with Cancelar.
Cancelar out of Iowa.
Well, I'll go with Stalba, so one of us is right.
You guys like how we did that?
Tom Stalba, New Jersey. Dialed 486. Winner will take on Race Charlton in the final round of the million.
Yep, you got that right. Bracket Racer 1 says LOL manufactured controversy. Stolba got pushed the other lane.
Yep. Don't be giving up no secrets, Casey.
I think we're even now.
Final here. What dragster's headed to the final? 4,000 separated.
Cancelar.
19, one above, 6, gets there first, 18 foul.
I'd like to know what happened there.
Stolba, 15 and puts it 3 hun over to get 18 foul behind.
I gave it back.
I don't believe that. I don't think his car ran the number. That's where I'm at. You're 3 hun above. 3 hun. Let's be honest. If you're the dragster, you're generally carrying something, especially versus another dragster. Do you think he killed enough? Even in my ears, I didn't hear enough to kill what he could have been holding plus 3 hun more. Come on, man. He didn't get that back.
George Hoff's going to be right.
I like it.
If he's doing that big burnout,
let it fly in the burnout.
He probably doesn't care anymore, man. He's guaranteed 140 grand. You can't blame him. That car is not worth 140 grand. You know what I mean?
Except that the next round is, if you win the final, it's double.
215. Unless they split it more. I mean, I'd split it more in the final, I would say. I'd try to get it more like where it's 10 grand more to win or something.
Right. Jack Nolan saying he would go on the other side of the 330 just so he can get the lane choice.
Spun.
Did it spin or did he break the input shaft?
It's still running.
Right at the 330 coming.
All right. He just took the tree.
We are gonna back it
he
up.
just took the hit.
Because lane choices might be decided by the...
60 foot, I think. Bold strategy.
What was he? That is bold. That is interesting. All right. That's all I got. That was interesting.
Take on Tucker Cancelar in the 27th running of the Mickey Thompson $1 Million Drag Race.
I think if I was personally going to make that hit, then I would have just ran it, because you've already done the hardest thing to the car at that point, in my opinion. Like, the hardest thing is going from 0 to going. That's the hardest thing on the car.
Said Jack Nolan thinks Tucker was 20. I didn't hear his light. I think you're right. And going back to that round, I'm gonna stand behind the fact that I feel like that car just didn't run the number, is where I'm at here, because he gave up 18. It didn't, like, unless he just slid it through the beams, you know. But we would have saw that, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Should have made the pass in the other lane for data. I was definitely wrong. Hey, George Hoff, I think we were all wrong. I didn't even think he was going to do that, big dog. I didn't think he was going to take the tree. I thought he was just going to stage and back him on out. This old guy launched. He done almost a 330 burnout. I was like, okay, here we go. Heck, he even had Leghorn saying this guy's about to take a shot at it. So,
yep. I'm very surprised he did what he did. You know, on one hand, I can understand if they're doing lane choice based on reaction time, then I can understand doing kind of what he did. I still think I would have personally at least ran it to 330 to get the times. But, you know, that being said, first of all, I'm not in the finals of the OG Million, so what do I know? But secondarily, if they're trying to go based on reaction time, that's who gets lane choice. Then that's the reason he hit it in that lane, probably, because he was like, well, this is what I've been hitting it in. I'm going to try to set up to hit it good, and I'm going to kick him out of the lane, because the guy who just won, that's the lane he went down.
Yeah, that's true, and that's what George Hoff is saying. He's at least got to get the data from both lanes. But Jim Davis is asking, does Capital have electronic ET slips? I'm going to guess that the answer to that question is no.
I don't think so.
I would have the app already and have been watching kind of from the app to see what's going on and seeing all the increments and stuff like that. But I don't think so, Jim Davis. Anthony Evans, he was 12, and he's got a generator and charger in the lanes. Yeah. Like I said, this guy's basically got a pit away from a pit, which is very, very smart. So he's just going to back up and hit his own pit. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So here's the ultimate question, George. If everything is correct and nothing changed since TJ last was live, then that means that right now it's 140 to runner up and it's 215 to win.
Right.
Which leaves you a total of 355, which seems high to me. I feel like that's too high. But let's just say these are the right numbers. So what do? Do you try to talk to the guy you're in the finals with? Do you try to go over to him and be like, hey, do you want to cut this up and make it a little closer? To put that into perspective, 355 divided by 2 is 177.5.
I feel like if it's doable, if it's possible to try and bridge the gap a little bit more would be something that I'd attempt. I'm at least gonna ask the question. I mean, all you can do is tell me no. I'm not scared of the word no. I never will be. Okay, so I mean, you have to ask the question though. 140 to 215. Splitting that up to getting it somewhere around even the 15 and making it 155 and 200 is doing better. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I was thinking make it, if it was me, what my conversation would be is I'd say, hey, and these aren't exactly the right numbers. They're just off my head, easy numbers for math. But that money that's in the final, I'd make it. If I had my choice, I'd say let's at least make it 187 and 167. So you get 27 more for losing, and I guess you would get, roughly the same less for winning.
Right. And I guess the hard part about it
over 150.
Over 150. The hard part about it is who's going to do it. Who's going to actually take the split more? I personally would take any split that anybody comes up with. If it means more money from first to second place, then let's do it. That's the way I see it. So, I don't know. George Hoff, and they should run for $30K and all the bells and whistles. I don't quite know what you mean, but I think you're thinking like side bet. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, let's leave this the same, but let's make a side bet. If I beat you, or you beat me, we pay one another $30,000 or something. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's my whole thought process was that if it gets a little bit closer, then you basically win or lose, you're still getting over 165,000 type thing.
Sure.
That's still going to change a significant amount. I don't care if you're a rich guy or not. Even if you're a millionaire, that's still over 10% of your net worth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I think that's the way I would try to do it. Now, the other side of that coin is, I think it's safe to say probably that the door car driver probably is driving for himself. Is the dragster driver entered on someone else's? Is that his car? Is he entered on someone else's dime? Maybe it's not his choice.
That's a good question, and that's kind of the meat and potatoes behind the whole split deal in the first place. As you've seen, the person doing the split was Mitch Cleary, and as everybody knows, Mitch Cleary is okie dokie himself. So he has many race cars in the mix out here. I think he had something like 10 entries, if I'm not wrong. So
yeah, well, Donovan drives for him. Gage was driving the Firebird that Underwood drove forever. There's a very good possibility Underwood might have been driving for him. Champ drives for him.
Yep. Underwood's driving for him. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I'd say it's safe to say that Overkill probably had not, because Troy and Gary own their own stuff now, I believe. But it's probably safe to say at any given point that Overkill probably has at least 5 drivers in any given make a money race.
Yeah, and it's pretty. I was listening to Jed, and I think he's trying to enter JJ into some races as long as he's driving Big Red. So so seemingly, Mitch Cleary puts some racers into the race. So
well, look, the fact of the matter is that Overkill is responsible for a lot of the talent in bracket racing today, as far as putting them in that position. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, Gage Birch, obviously we know what he can do and what he's done, but a 19-year-old kid, which is whenever he was becoming what he is, doesn't have the ability to do what he ended up doing. Like, you have to win 4 or 5 of those to get really moving on stuff, because you have to, yeah, he won that 525 and he probably took home, let's just say he took home $250,000. When you're 19 years old, you still need to buy a house. You still need to buy a truck. You still need to buy a trailer. You still need to buy a race car. That $250,000 goes quick,
That's right. That's right. And let me be honest with you. If I'm winning $250,000, I'm going to be content with Mo and content with my open trailer and content with my 2000 F350. I'm putting $250,000 into something that is going to have residual cash flow. That's the business brain in me saying that I'm really not trying to go broke. So
exactly.
I definitely ain't putting no truck, because that is a depreciating asset. This isn't economics 101 though. This is drag racing. Let's get back to some drag racing.
Yeah, and we got I don't know how to say your first name, Lucian maybe Payne. At this point, saying it at this point, it's not so much the money, it's the prestige of winning, and I agree with that too. I mean, it would almost be realistic to say, let's just divide this purse down the middle and race for the trophy, because the trophy is the OG million, and that has a lot of value to it.
Yep, that is a fact. So, Lucian, you're 100% right, Lucian Payne. This is a race, and let's just say neither one of these drivers are hired guns. Chances are their inbox of their Facebook is going to be pretty full by the time they get back of people saying, hey, if you ever need a ride, I got one for you. Okay? You win a race like this on this scale, and on Motor Mania, it's broadcasted live there. It's broadcasted live on Going Bracket Racing. You win this race, and you have the ability to drive for probably any person who enters racers into a race. Casey, thoughts?
Definitely, man. I was actually looking at something else because I wanted to say appreciate Old Racer saying this. Old Racer says, you guys are doing a great job with this. Thank you for all the work you guys put in for our entertainment. So we just appreciate you guys being a part of it and watching it, man, and letting us do it, because otherwise we'd be here talking to nobody.
Right. We'd still be talking, just be nobody listening. Right. And shout out to my wife if you're watching. Thank you for watching the kids for 3 hours and 7 minutes. Actually, there's one right behind me, and I didn't even know it because I got my headphones on. I didn't know you still in, buddy.
But what about you playing Minecraft?
Maybe tomorrow. Anyway, man, this has definitely been a very fun live from the 8th Mile. We'd like to do it more. Sometimes time just doesn't allow for it, but it is a different perspective, and I have to shout out drag coverage again. Dude, being able to have the inside scoop on the split, that makes things way, way, way more fun to, man, so I feel like that might be something that we need to be able to do, especially if we ever go live from the 8th Mile, be able to have the information readily available to say, what are they racing for this round? Well, what about this round? Because life-changing money is being traded every single round at this point.
Well, and dude, it's, the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, that round, where had we not known what the difference was for the bye to the final, yes, the bye to the final is an extremely important thing to have. However, knowing that it was a difference of $100,000 guaranteed, and potentially more, obviously he could win the whole race. But it was guaranteed that round was worth $100,000 to him, because it guaranteed that he would get that much difference. That's what makes this type of thing exciting. And that's the type of stuff you don't get anywhere but big money bracket racing. You don't get that type of, you watch professional level racing, NHRA stuff, and you're like, oh man, John Force has to win this round or else Robert Hyde will win the championship. And you're like, yeah, that's fine and everything, but those guys do that for a living. It's kind of irrelevant if they finish first or second in the points. They're still going to have sponsors next year and all that stuff. But bracket racers, what they're doing right now, like I said, he went from the difference in money to be able to buy a new truck to being able to potentially buy a new house.
Right. And Disselhorst's in here saying Tucker is a local racer out of Eddyville. I think that's Indiana, if I'm not mistaken myself. Him and his dad, Josh, are very tough competitors. I believe this is only Tucker's second race at the Million, and he went deep rounds last year. So, obviously, this guy had... He was still pretty warm coming off of last year's Million, if that's the case. Because he come in here and he laid down the smack. Layeth downeth the smack is what I watched. Okay, so it's pretty cool, Mike, local buddy, getting a shot at this level of a race.
It's safe to say that he probably really likes going to Montgomery, Alabama.
Safe to say it. He's going to be back a few more times. I can promise you that. And definitely, man. So I don't know, guys. This is definitely, as I remember back into Millions and different things of that nature, this is one of the better OGs I've watched. Last year was extra fun because we got to watch Scotty Richardson almost get it done. So that was pretty fun. But seemingly you have two guys here that, quote unquote, aren't the highest names at this race. I don't mean any harm. Their names are going to be very well elevated now, right? But I'm pretty sure Jason Lynch got put down by one of them. AJ Ash got put down by one of them. You had Skinny Kenny Underwood in the mix at one point. All these big names.
Triplet.
All these big names fell to these two guys. Okay? So, hats off to the both of you. Tucker Cancelar and Ray Talton. You guys are the ones who put on the show. You guys are the MVP.
Exactly, man. And it's going to be, no matter who wins this race, I mean, I think they're both going to be satisfied with the outcome. I mean, obviously, they're going to, only one of them is going to have their name on that big list of winners. But if it's like, if this ends up being like every other person seemingly on that list, this isn't going to be the last time you hear these guys' names.
No chance at all. I'm going to grab this question out of the chat on Facebook from Jordan Davis. Can just anyone enter or professionals only? Bring your money, bring your race car, and have fun. This isn't you have to be somebody to get invited to this invitational to be able to race for $640,000. No, man. This is if you have a race car, and you meet the restrictions of said race. I don't know what the dial-in limit was here.
$799.
$799, right?
But
right?
I mean, dude, my Camaro in high school was a 100% street car LS1 Camaro, and it went 830s.
That's what I'm saying.
So
that's what I'm saying. So Jordan, this is a race you could show up to and race at. Is basically what it is. Go to Montgomery, pull it there. You made the trip. They will sell you a tech card. And he also asked, what would y'all advice be on someone getting into racing? Number one, remember Motor Mania TV. Number one, remember Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. Hit those like and subscribe buttons on both. And then I would say just continue to watch. Go back in the archives and watch. Go back and Going Bracket Racing archives and watch. And once you get a feel for what's actually going on here, because there's a lot in a little bit of time, take yourself on the Drag Race Results or one of these Facebook sites. And make yourself a budget, see what you got to spend. You'll find what you're looking for. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. You don't have to have a stacker. You don't have to have a dragster. You don't have to have 5 motors. You don't have to have 5 transmissions. You might go through all of that. Don't get me wrong, right?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But it getting into the sport is seemingly showing up and wanting to do it. You have a car, show up on a street class one day and just go run your car off the bottom. And see what you think about that. And once you get hooked, come on back and tell us that it happened, because it's going to happen anyway. So I'm just trying to help you get there, buddy.
Yeah, man. No, great answer for sure. Hopefully he does come out and we see him out there one day. If you see one of us one day, come up and talk to us, man. And I hope you enjoy it as much as we do, because I quit racing for a couple years just because I was doing some career stuff and running around the country working and whatnot. And it's just not the same, man. It's the only thing that I've ever liked doing, really. But back to the OG million. Why, George, do you think, and this was kind of where I was going there for a second, but I got to thinking, when you look at that list, who's won the OG million, you see like big names, like major names, like we were talking about earlier. Why whenever you see those names on there, if you think about where they were at the time, they weren't who they are now. Like obviously Johnny Ezel's always been a great racer, but I don't feel like he really took off and became a household name until he won the OG million. And then he went on just a winning streak and started winning everything. Don't forget that SFG 525 that Gage Birch won, who was in the final with him? Johnny Ezel. You know what I mean? Like Johnny's been in major finals and probably won well over $1 million in his racing career since the OG million. But, and it's not just him. It's Troy Williams, Gary Williams, Shane Carr, like Kenny Underwood. All these guys win all this stuff, and then they just seemingly take off and become these larger-than-life people as far as bracket racing goes. Why do you think that happens right after they win the OG million?
If I can do this real quick, I'm just going to switch pages. Everything's muted. But down here on MotorMania TV, it says it's being called the OG million by the racers and sponsors because it's the granddaddy of all big dollar bracket races. This is the one that started it all so many years ago. It starts on Tuesday with a race to the million. Okay? Just that first little bit right there under MotorMania TV's description is why if you win the million, you become literally a bracket racing celebrity. If you're in, let me just put it this way. If you made it to the 8 cars in the million, you're a celebrity in bracket racing at this point. It's just the way it is,
yeah.
Okay? It's the prestige of this race and the SFG million and the half million and the guaranteed million. Those races are so large and so well publicized that it would be as if you're on an episode of The Bachelor or something in modern day Facebook, YouTube language. Everybody who watches The Bachelor understand what's the prize. Male or female. This is a horrible example, by the way. but everybody who's in bracket racing watches the million, watches the guaranteed million, watches the OG million, watches the spring flings, watches all the fling races. That's why you become a quote-unquote superstar.
Yeah, man. Well, look at the numbers tell the tale right here. Look at the bottom of your screen right now. It says 4,114 people watching, 4,108, something like that. Like, I mean, that tells you right there, there's 613 entries on the grounds there, plus all these people watching,
Right.
And then plus the people that are all watching our show right now and watching TJ's side of thing on drag coverage, like there's probably 10,000 eyes on this right now easily, because just because it says one number on there, that doesn't mean only one person's watching. There might be 10 people watching.
There's groups. How many people do we know that have garages set up or patios set up? Thanks for building mine or designing mine, by the way. But how many people do we know that have something like that can invite all of their bracket buddies over, pop open a cooler, which shockingly I don't have next to me, and watch the race. At this level, that's probably happening more often than we know, and only one device is plugged into MotorMania. So you're spot on with that, Casey. There's probably seemingly double 4,160 people watching this race.
Right.
I guarantee it.
Do you think that winning this race is just what gives people the confidence, being like, hey, I just beat all those guys, maybe I can do it some more, and they just go on the tour?
We've talked about that for as long as I can remember, especially as long as going bracket racing has been going. Once you get a head of steam moving in the right direction. We just heard someone mention that Tucker has been deep into the rounds at the million one before anyway. So his confidence levels are going to be high, and it doesn't matter who's in the other lane. That's always, I don't care what you're doing, confidence is going to play a part. you can just be trying to pick up a girl, and if you don't have confidence, it ain't gonna happen. Okay.
Right.
Another poor example, I think. Maybe a little bit better than the last one, but confidence is key. It's key.
Yeah, man. What do you think it feels like for these guys right now? Look at this. This looks like a Duck X Promotions type race right here. That looks like Stevie Jackson should be pulling through. Look, they got the fences and everything. Like,
yeah, I'm actually gonna pull it up, and I don't think there's music playing. Well, there's music playing, which is shocking. But look at it. You know, let me get it big so you can see it. But it does it. How would I feel to pull out in front of a crowd this size, standing all around the track? You know they're up at the 8th mile. You know that things are going on there. How would I feel? I'd feel pretty doggone good, let me be honest. I'd feel really good. I don't even know if I'd be nervous at this point of the race, simply because my nerves, like you said, probably would have been over 2 or 3 rounds ago whenever I saw I was going to win 60 grand. I think I heard Tyler Bohannon say that too. He's like, he didn't know it, but when he turned off the track, the round that he just won was like another 70 or 80 grand that he just netted. So he was like, if somebody hadn't told me that, I think I'd be in a whole lot better position, right? But
right.
I don't know how I'd feel, man, but I'll tell you what, one day I'd love to feel it. I'd love to be able to report back how it feels one of these days.
Right. I just kind of feel like no matter who wins this round, I feel like on one hand you're like, man, realistically, yes, there have been people who have won multiple millions. I will say that probably back in the day, today everybody's good, and anybody will tell you that. You know, all the people we've interviewed on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel, from Dan Fletcher to Luke Bogacki to Big Jed, Gary Don to TJ, on and on and on. We've had tons of guests on there. Ryan Gleghorn, the announcer of this race. We've talked to all of them. They've all said the same thing, is nowadays, 99% of people are as good as the top 1% were 10 years ago. And
it's 100% fact. And I know I sound like a broken record. I know it for a fact. But we can contribute that stat to what we're watching on MotorMania TV, at least to some extent. We have the ability to watch the quote-unquote best of the best do it, because I know there's still a few names that are not at this race. SR1 is one of them. But this is the best of the best, and we get to watch this, and then we get to break it down in our minds and try to take something from them or what we thought we saw them do and make it our own on the racetrack. That's big for this sport. Okay, so hats off to MotorMania TV, because seemingly, this is how bracket racing is breeding racers, watching things like this. So that's how I see it.
Right. Brian Harris, they did change the split after the one at 24. Somebody must not have wanted to split it quite as much at the top, but when they came back around for 12, they did cut it up just a little bit more. And I don't think they have after that, but it looks like they're pulling forward here, George. So we're getting ready to crown the new OG Million champion here in about 2 minutes.
Let's crank some volume.
That's a burnout.
You're ahead of everybody. Yeah, but that was a burnout.
I'm from the future.
That was another good burnout.
Hand side, Race Charlton. Pure poisoned out 487 in the door car. He will be leaving first in front of Tucker Cancelar. Cancelar and the dragster out.
Look at that crowd behind him, man. Look at that crowd.
Tarleton. Been carrying the bye a long time. Finally got it at 3 cars. And has found himself here in a $1 million final round. Cancelar has been flat nasty from round 1 to now. He's looking to pick up a big check for $1 million. Tarleton in the left, Cancelar in the right. The biggest million final in history. Getting ready to go down the racetrack.
Man, he must have killed him.
Double O's a pair.
Like Cancelar. 9 take 3 to be
Double O's a pair.
above Tarleton. 23
Oh,
and
nope.
2 over.
Tarleton
no
missed.
good.
Wow.
$1 million check headed back to Iowa as
Iowa.
Tucker Cancelar.
Tucker Cancelar.
$22 million race winner.
Wow.
Huge congratulations. To the
Yeah, he was ripping
Cancelar
him pretty
family.
quick, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's on him at 3:30.
We're gonna have our winner circle celebration. I'm so excited for them.
I hear that.
Here
Jeez
shortly
Whiz.
before we get into round 2.
Ryan will probably have a lot of fun tonight because I want to say Cancelar might be one of his buddies.
Likely.
Of course, he knows everybody, but.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. This has been one heck of a night to be able to go live from the 8th mile and the virtual 8th mile and discuss this in as much detail as we can. Shouts out again to drag coverage. TJ, man, without your insight there, need to figure out a way to make sure we have that type of information at every single live from the 8th mile event. It just adds a little bit more, shall I say, spin to what we're talking about here. Casey, man. 3 hours and 30 minutes later, we're probably both in trouble with our wives. What else you got left?
Man, that's about all I got left. I think I'm going to go downstairs. I hope my kid isn't giving my wife too hard of a time. Hopefully he's sleeping, but I better go downstairs and check. I know she did make cookies, so I might eat a couple of them.
Send me some. Send me some.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Might be stale, but I'll try.
It's all right. Overnight it. I'll pay for it. Guys, we can't thank you enough for joining in, chiming in, sticking around. We know there's a lot going on tonight. You guys could be doing other things, but you chose to spend time with us here at the Gorn Bracket Racing YouTube channel, which is for racers by racers. We can't do it without you. As always, we'll see you guys Tuesday. Have a good one.